He's on the dirt there, and it looks like Iman Danish has managed to overtake all three of them. Will he be able to make that move stick? Iman Danish coming around the inside of turn 4, and they're still side by side coming around the outside of the corner there. It looks like Iman Danish, unbelievable driving there, and Jay Wong's going around the outside. Jay Wong is going around the outside of the chicane. Will he be able to make that work? That's Ayman Haziq, another position lost there. If Jay Wong can make this work coming down towards the braking zone there, you can see Ayman Haziq really concentrating right now, gritted teeth as he comes through the corner there, and it looks like Jay Wong has also managed to make it overtaking maneuver there. That is a huge turn of events there. Iman Danish now is in 4th position, Simon Sanchez in 5th, Jay Wong in 6th, and Ayman Haziq in 7th place. And meanwhile, Han An and Zainal Hazim are about to go side by side coming to turn 2. Will he be able to do it around the outside there? Zainal Hazim throws the car at the scenery. He manages to hang on to it around the outside. Now they're going to be a drag race going down towards turn 3. This is going to be epic. Who will be the braver driver? Who is going to lock up on the brakes? This is going to be a battle of the middle pedal coming down towards the braking zone here. Let's see if Han An can defend from Zainal Hazim. Zainal has the speed going around the outside. They touch. They are rubbing door handles now and rubbing fender flares as they're coming up towards the braking zone here. 50 meters. Braking hard there. Zainal Hazim tries to go around the inside there. Unbelievable stuff there. That's incredibly close indeed. Han An and Zainal Hazim, they're still side by side. This is for the championship lead, ladies and gentlemen, around the chicane there, around the outside there. Han An might be able to do it, and yes, he has in fact defended that position, but Zainal Hazim will be coming back to him very, very shortly, I'm sure, and Ronaldo Edo is salivating at the back there. He is waiting for anything to happen between these two drivers because he will be the big winner.
LamboPlace.
Dalam ini kita. Oh, sedap pergi dia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome to round 3 of the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. We've got a fantastic show for you today. 2 classes of jam-packed action at one of the trickiest, hardest, and some may say most dangerous, virtually of course, racetracks in iRacing, and that is of course Road America. Super narrow, super tight, and super exciting. I'm going to be your host for this evening, Max Palmer. With me in the studio is Encik Budi.
So Max, tonight gonna be an exciting moment, Max. It's a long track,
Yeah.
narrow track,
Yeah.
and full of a fast pace and technical section.
Absolutely, it's almost got the feel of a rally track around the around the back half of it. I've just been around with the Veloster TCR car, and I must admit it is a fairly special track there. But of course, super narrow, very long straights though. So I think we're going to see a lot of slipstreaming, a lot of dive bombing, and a lot of action in this one.
That is what we're afraid of.
Well, I know you guys really enjoy that sort of action, but I guess some of the drivers might be a bit more circumspect. I believe is the word there. So in any case, we are at Road America, one of the grand old tracks in the United States there, along with Road Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Laguna Seca. They make up the backbone of road racing in America, a long and proud tradition that's been going on since the late 1800s. So a very proud tradition. Road America, not as old as that, but still a mainstay of the IndyCar and Champ Car series, as well as the legendary Can-Am cars, the 1,000 horsepower cars that were racing back in the States, as well as IMSA. It is the home of IMSA, of course.
Up till now.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And not to mention that all of the participants are actually fighting for a cash prize, Max.
Absolutely.
We have a very close fight in the pro categories and the AM category for the championship, for the championships point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we have a look at the list here, we have the latest point standings for you. In the pro class category, we've got 3 drivers in with a chance of winning it. Shami Azri there with 35 points, Mika Hakimi in second place with also 35 points as well. So they are tied for the championship right now, but they can't really relax too much because only 2 points behind is Kalvinder Singh, and he's been super consistent, and he was very dangerous. I think if he can up his race pace just a little bit more, he could actually take home a win this time around.
As per we know that for these past 2 rounds, Kalvinder has been quite consistent on the avoiding all the incidents.
Yes, we haven't really seen much of him on the broadcast, but that's because he's done the Daniel Ricciardo technique of just being nice and slow and quiet and ending up in 4th.
But smooth and the new fast, Max.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, in the AM categories, Han An has done a fantastic job in holding on to the amateur class standings right now. 43 points is a fairly decent gap between himself and Shame Aizan in second place. So 43 plays 29. It's still a bit too close to call, I think, for Han An. He's going to have to push really hard there. Shame Aizan didn't have a great round 1, so that's why he's got such a big gap there. But if you look at second, third, and fourth places, you have Shame Aizan in second, 29 points. Zainal Hazim in third, 28 points. And Shukran Mokhtar in fourth with 27 points. There is a lot to play for, especially for the battle for second place. But like I said, Han An really can't lose focus at this critical round of the championship.
And as per we know, last round, the fighting between Shami Aizan, Zainul Hazim, and Shukran Mokhtar, it's been a while. I mean, like more than half of the races they have been fighting for position.
Absolutely. So in a few minutes time we'll head off down to the track, but before we do that, let's go and thank our sponsors. A special thanks goes out to LamboPlace. With their 5G guarantee, you will not go wrong with some of the best genuine items for sale. So head on over down to LamboPlace.com And also we have our co-sponsors Stratus and Excitix. Fantastic to have them on board as well. This event organized by Trumpet, Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports, and we have a special thanks to our partners GK and DSF. Drive safe and fast.
And don't forget about our sponsor for this year, the gaming chairs.
Yeah,
it's by Toda. This is a Zuhud model.
Yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful there, and we had an absolute joy in using these chairs all throughout these broadcasts there. So it's a lot of fun, and I think all the other casters here at Adrenaline Impact really like it as well.
Yeah. So, we are actually having quite a race night in Road America. What do you think that will happen?
Well, the first 3 corners, again, this is the 3rd race in the row I'm saying this. I promise you, not all racetracks are like this, but the first 3 corners are going to be very exciting because you have a long drag into turn 1, which is quite fast but very, very narrow, and there's not a lot of tarmac runoff around Road America. It's still a very old school track in that sort of way. Turn 2 is going to be super difficult because it's not that narrow in the first place coming into the corner, but then it narrows up even more, and it opens up to the back straight and towards turn 3, but the problem with turn 3 is that it's incredibly sharp and it's also downhill, so you're gonna have a whole new set of problems there as well. So I think the opening few laps of the race are going to be very touch and go through that section.
And this is another problem that we will expect next. Yeah. So last track we say that that there's no way they can go 3 wide or 4 wide there.
I do not want to say anything this time around because the last time I said 4 wide, they went 5 wide.
But this track, if you go 3 wide, it will end badly, bro. It will.
So do watch for the 4 wide start for the TCRs. But then again, you have to say, as a racer, when you actually start these events, we do like to say that the driving might be virtual, but the racing definitely is real. And as soon as you get that virtual helmet on and you put your foot down, it's all go.
It's on.
Yeah.
It's on. When it's on, it's on. Yeah. When you are in the middle of the race, especially, be it you have a cash prize or not.
Yeah.
When you are in the track and you are racing, you will think that no matter how fast you are, what in your mind is, I want to win.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even when you're in 17th position, you're still thinking of how to get as far up, how close can you get towards the leaders and all the rest of that sort of stuff. Of course, it does help that we have dangled a little bit of a carrot in front of them in terms of our prize pool. 10,000 ringgit up for grabs in our total prize pool for this championship. It is 3,000 going to the leader or the winner of the pro class. This is overall in the championship, so 3,000 ringgit goes to him for a total of 6,000 ringgit in the pro category. So 3,000, 2,000 and 1,000 ringgit respectively. In the AM category, we have 2,000, 1,200 ringgit and 8,000 for first, second and third respectively, for a total of 4,000 ringgit prize pool. That is not a little amount of money. I can already think of all the sim racing equipment I could get for that money.
2,000 max. At least a new DD wheel.
Yeah. Or if you're just starting out, or you're thinking of refreshing, you could get yourself a T300 with a decent set of pedals probably as well.
Yeah, that works. That does work.
And maybe even have a little bit extra for a nice wide monitor as well, just to go along with the package. So definitely worthwhile.
So this is the things that they are fighting for tonight.
So in any case, we're about to head on down to the racetrack at Road America. It's a nice balmy day here in Middle America right now. Umar Aziz is ready to go on the pit wall, but do show him some love there by leaving a comment down below and letting us know what you think of Umar Aziz, our intrepid pit lane reporter. And while you're there, please share this stream around and spread that sim racing love around.
Yeah, we need that love.
Absolutely.
We need it more right now. Come on, man. Just pour some share here.
Yeah, pour some living on us.
Yeah.
So-
Oh,
In any case, the track temperature now is 39 degrees Celsius here at Elkhart Lake, Road America circuit in Middle America there. Nice, right on the Mason-Dixon line here in the States. We are going to start off with the Pro Class category and the Porsche Gt3 R race cars. These are full-on GT3 spec cars that we're going to be watching this evening, so no Carrera Cup or anything like that. This is the fastest Porsche you could probably race in this in iRacing.
And then Max, this is one of I think this is one of the longest track that we have for this championship.
In fact, it's the second longest track
Oh,
of the championship because we just remember the first one. And yeah, do stay tuned also for that one. The season finale is going to be amazing.
That's gonna be different.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be a lot different.
So let's go on board with Mika Hakimi here as he comes down towards turn 1 here. This amazing Road America course here at Elkhart Lake. Through turn 1 again, it narrows down a little bit here. We're going downhill right now, very fast turn 1, a little bit slower through turns 2 here, and you can notice that on the exit it narrows up quite a bit. You have a little bit of strip of tarmac there just to try and save yourself. Now you're going to go flat out all the way down the hill here, and you're picking up speed faster than you would anywhere else because this straight is entirely downhill, and it really gets very steep at the end here. Coming down towards the braking zone here, we can see Mika Hakimi using all of the tarmac and then some to get a good turn in through turn 3. Going under the Corvette bridge, you have to turn in right underneath the bridge here, and you have to really feed the car into the apex in order to get a good time here. Now through these corners here, very, very fast indeed, and quite a long straight in between them. But now we're coming up towards the approach to one of the famous corners here, the Carousel. Coming out of the corner here, underneath the Speedville Bridge, turning hard into the corner there. He's got to keep the car on the outside for as long as he possibly dares before diving towards the inside to try and complete that corner in as fast a time as possible. Now coming down through this section here, you have to be absolutely on it through here. With the GT3 cars, you can do it flat out. In the TCR cars, you have to really slow down. Nabil Vaz there, is there any golf course nearby? He's trying to get me into golf. Hard on the brakes here for this corner, and very, very tricky here because you have to use all of the tarmac on the exit, but if you go a little bit too wide, it's an insta-spin. Now coming up towards this crest here, you can't see the exit, but you have to use the exit road in order to get the best performance before coming up towards the final corner here. Very, very tricky here, using all of the tarmac on the exit there before the famous rise over the crest and across the line. What a lap.
This is one big hit of a track. I would say you have a very, very long straight. You have 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, 5 of a long straight. Which is the first and the second one is really, really long. And then we have a very sharp corner with a narrow kind of track.
Yeah.
And wow.
It is very, very difficult to get right. And the other thing that we don't really notice is that the surface at Road America, it's been relatively the same since the 80s, so you can see it's not the smoothest here, at least in the sim. I know they've made some improvements since they've scanned the track last. There'll probably be a bit of an update later on in the year, but you can tell that the track has weathered quite a bit. It's bumpy, it's a bit more like a normal public road than an actual racetrack in terms of its feeling, so you can't really push the car to the absolute limit like you could at, say, Spa or at any other newer tracks like that. Meanwhile, there we can see the pin comment. What car do they use in the Pro Class category for the Tires series? Ah, that was the old one. We will try and get you another one later on. A little bit quick on the trigger finger, guys.
So, Mac, what do you think about the overtake location or overtake sector for this map?
There is an awful lot of places where you could try and overtake. Coming into turn 1 is the obvious one, but you really do have to get your overtaking done before the apex. Turn 2 is a lot harder in that respect because you really have to be ahead of the car you're trying to overtake before you turn in even. But turn 3 is a big overtaking opportunity here. So turns 1, turns 3, and through the back corners before you get to the Canada Curve section. So on the very right hand side of the map that you see on screen there, you can see that flat out running right at right across the top of the track and into that purple sector there. That could be a interesting location to try and make an overtaking maneuver. But definitely, it is a track of two halves. There's a much twistier second half and a much straighter first half. But this here, we see here, it's actually a DRS zone for the WEC cars. And you can see it's a long straight, but it's not quite straight. There's a few kinks left and right in places like that. So you could try and overtake there, but it could be very difficult.
It's not like straight.
Yeah.
And this, well, we know that these cars have lift of oversteer. We have a very fragile kind of suspension.
Yes.
You know, and it's really hard for them to, but they have to make a good decision, very calm and collected kind of decision. And this is where I want to go. Being confident is a thing.
Yeah.
You know, having less mental stress is a thing.
Absolutely. In fact, I think it is the thing around this track here. You really want to try and tackle this with a nice, cool, calm, smooth way around. Let's have a look there. That's Pagvinder Singh, aka Roy Charles. He's a star not only in sim racing, but he's also a real-life touring car driver as well, and a very quick one indeed. So he's using all of his experience from sim racing to improve his driving in real life, and he's also doing the same going the other way around. He's using all of his real-life racing experience and bringing it into the sim. Now, he hasn't had the greatest of the first two rounds. He's been very unlucky, basically being caught up in other people's accidents there, but knock on wood, he will be able to have a much cleaner race this time around.
Well, we are really hoping on that.
Yeah, because he has the pace.
He has the pace. He has the pace. He has a really good racecraft, but I think that the past two rounds, it's just that it doesn't favor him.
Yeah,
you know the luck doesn't favor him.
Yeah,
things like that.
Absolutely. He has been very, very unlucky, and but it'll be interesting to see how he goes there. He takes a very different line going through turn 3. You'll see a lot of people trying different things and getting to a very similar lap time. It's a little bit too wide there, but perhaps he's just listening in on the commentary and getting a little bit distracted. We'll leave you to it. But there you go, Pagvinder Singh doing a fantastic job there, going around the track right now. Interestingly enough, the fastest time out on track during qualifying, Shami Azri, 2:02.690. That is an epic lap time right now. Jehan An there saying Hyperball's drivers are insanely fast, and they are proving it right now. Shami Azri right up there, Kalvinder Singh also up there, Iman Danish in 4th place as well. 4 drivers in the 202s, and pretty much the rest of them are in the 203s, apart from Ayman Zubair, Samuel Sanchez and Mazdi Mardini, although I'm sure they can get their lap times down quite easily if they get favourable track conditions. Of course, everyone is out on track at the same time, but they all get clear tracks ahead of them. So that's the wonderful thing about sim racing, is that you are able to drive around. So in any case, now get 12 ringgit off with a minimum purchase of $40 by clicking on the link to the shop and using the code LBPER12 from the 25th of March to the 29th of April 2022, limited to the first 500 people. So do make sure to get your engines ready and head on over down to adrenalineImpact.com/LamboPlace for that special offer from our partners at LamboPlace. So $40 off every time you
12
spend
bucks off.
Sorry,
every
12
time
bucks.
you spend 40 ringgit.
12 bucks off every time you spend $40. So try and get that the right way around.
But anyway, 12 bucks off. It's not small.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely worthwhile, and of course, with a 5G guarantee, you will not go wrong with LamboPlace. But there you have it. Hopefully, we might actually be able to head on over there ourselves afterwards.
Last Tuesday, we talked about Kalvinder Singh and Iman Danish, how they work together in the practice race to keep up with their pace and so on. And you can see that it's happening here between Kalvinder and Iman Danish. It's actually less than 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, it is quite close right now. The entire top 4 there are within 3/10 of a second.
Yeah. It's insanely close, actually.
Absolutely. And I think the race in racing conditions will be even closer, because of course the guy at front on this track will have a bit of a disadvantage. It is known for being a slipstreaming track, although in some sections the slipstreaming can get a little bit hairy.
And we've talked about this also regarding the slipstream effects that happen to be something really important in GT3 class cars due to the aerodynamics and so on. So it's gonna be a big difference between 0.8 gap and 0.6 gap.
Yeah.
Actually, because 0.8 is actually the start of drafting position, the gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, meanwhile, let's have a look at the position inside the room of Iman Danish, who's now driving out there on track. Our teenage wonder. They're doing a fantastic job throwing this car around. And you'll actually see this. He really does have a very forceful way he drives these Porsches. It's an absolute joy to watch. It reminds me of guys like Uwe Nattel and Walter Roll. Very, very positive on the steering. We'll see as he comes down to the braking zone here. This is one of the tricks to getting a good time out of the Porsche. You have to introduce the car into the corner a little bit, then turn in hard. And especially through a bumpy track like this, where you really don't want to upset the car, that is the steering technique that you would need to use for this. So it's nice to see that Iman Danish using the classic Porsche technique.
And it is really aggressive, Max. If you ask me, Iman Danish has done a 2-sector with a.
And I was just pointing out there that the pit lane correspondent Omar Aziz. Oh, look at that! 202.404. We had a little bit of a delay there on our timing screens, but that is amazing stuff. Iman Danish managing to get that pole position time there. I was just mentioning he's the only driver that Umar Aziz has seen with a drink tube, just like you would in a real-life GT3 car. He's got a drink tube.
He take the immersiveness.
Yes, absolutely.
to the next level. And he was like, when he got that timing just now, he was like, yes, come on.
Absolutely. That was an amazing lap time. 202.404. That puts him 0.2 of a second faster, 0.3 almost from Shami Azri, who did a fantastic 202.690. Right now, Mika Hakimi is out there on track. He has gone faster in the second sector. We've split this track up into 6 sectors, just to get a little bit more granularity with the data there, as opposed to the usual 3 sectors. Coming down through the track here, and down onto the back stretch here, coming down to the braking zone here, we can see if we can actually improve his lap time. He's gone quicker in the 3rd sector. Coming down towards the braking zone there, it looks like he's lost a bit of time in the 4th sector, but I think he might be, on the balance, able to improve his lap time on the whole.
I love what the comment just pop up just now. Ui, Iman tak sia-sia tunduk potong angin. That was really good, actually.
Full-on karting, just duck behind the steering wheel, get a couple of kilometers on the straight. Yeah, coming up over the crest here. Let's see if Mika Hakimi can improve his lap time. See if he can dethrone Shami Azri. Let's see what the lap time is. Yes, he has. He's managed to get himself up into 2nd position. Mika Hakimi now on the front row of the grid, demoting Shami Azri into 3rd position. Kavinder Singh is the last man out on track. Let's see if he can improve his position. He's in 4th place right now. It's a fascinating actual battle for pole here. And it's interesting. We haven't really seen that much because of the way iRacing's qualifying system is set up. But this is real last-minute stuff. 15 minutes have passed there. I don't think he'll be able to finish the lap, unfortunately, but he was going quite quickly there. But in any case, there, Iman Danish, what a lap.
Wow, that was a really close gap between one and another.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tight battle between the first 2 rows of the grid. Very quick indeed.
I feel a bit nauseous about the first lap. I don't want to say anything, but that we have seen a lot of things that happen on the first few corners, Max.
Yeah, and that was on some fairly wide racetracks, so it's going to be quite interesting here. So let's have a look at the grid before we get going. Now, Iman Danish is on pole position there, 202.404. In 2nd place, it's Mika Hakimi for Dozov Blue Steel Racing in 2nd place there. Shami Azri is in 3rd, followed by Kelvinder Singh in 4th place. On row 3 is Mohammad Taki and Ayman Hazik in row 4. Jay Wong, the lonely driver, in 7th place. Pagvinder Singh for RC Racing in 8th. Mohammad Zikri is in 9th, followed by Afiq Fadlan, Ayman Zubair and Simon Sanchez.
There you go. We have 12 driver on the track tonight, Max. 12 driver is fighting for positions.
Well,
we have
a couple
more.
more.
We have a couple more.
So Mazdi managed to make the race. That's great news.
Yeah. Oh, he come out late.
Oh yeah.
But that was good. That was good.
I think there might be even a bit of a tactic here because, to be honest, having a good starting position might be a bit difficult to deal with. If you were starting from the back and if there were anything to go wrong, you might actually end up being in a better position right at the back of the field.
Yeah, that might be a good strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. In official races, we all know that starting from the back can be a good idea along these difficult tracks there, just for your first few attempts at the race. But now we're about to go green here at Road America, coming up over the crest there. Does this feel like IMSA or what? But this is the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. Round 3 is go. Heading down towards turn 1 there, and it looks like Iman Danish has had a fantastic start there. He's managed to jump the field there. Mika Hakimi is also trying to hang on tight through there and going through the first few corners there. It looks like they've managed to spread themselves out just enough, but further back I'm sure we're seeing a lot of action. A lot of cars very close to each other as they're coming up through turn 3. Coming down towards the hill here, this is where the big action place is going to be. Can anybody pick any positions coming down towards the braking zone here? Very narrow track right now. They managed to spread themselves out just nicely. I think this is probably the safest start we've seen. But Kalvinder Singh's going to try and go for it on the inside there. Not quite able to do it. Further back, Kalvinder Singh is managing to keep himself up into 7th place there. But he's got Jay Wong directly behind him going through the Corvette bridge and through that fast left-hander. Hard on the throttle there. Jay Wong's looking on the outside there, unable to get that position there. Through this section, it's almost impossible to overtake in cars this wide, but it is possible just around the corner there. It's all going to be down to how well they get out of this long right-hand there, the carousel.
So Bhavinder Singh and Jay Wong has been fighting for the past 2 rounds, Max, and now in the round 3 they are still fighting. The same car, the same driver are still fighting for actually the same position.
Absolutely. But behind here we've got Afiq Fadlan who's going to try and make some moves here going through this isn't straight section of track here. Hard on the brakes there. He's going to try and go on the inside. Is he going to try and do something there? Jay Wong goes wide, goes very wide. He's off into the gravel there. Afiq Fadlan's off into the gravel there. It looks like they've just pushed themselves a little bit too hard and braked a little bit too late into that corner. There's a few bumps that unsettle the car, especially in iRacing, going through that corner there. And it looks like those two just pushed a little bit too far into there, and I think Jay Wong might actually have to take a tow there. But meanwhile, Kalvinder Singh is right on the back of Shami Azri, 0.2 of a second there. That's a lot of slipstream coming down towards turn 1. He might not make the move here because it is a little bit tricky, but I think he might make the move at turn 3.
It depends on where the decision that Kalvinder Singh takes, because here
he's thinking about it, but he didn't quite go for it there.
That was actually a good decision, Max.
Oh yes.
He's like, okay, I'm not gonna overtake right now. Just keep pressure.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the other thing that Kelvin is very good at. Sometimes he'll, at the most inopportune time, just move across, just to say, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to attack. Now look, coming across here, and it looks like Shami Azri's managed to defend very well going through the corner there. Just closing the door slightly, giving Kelvinder the hint that it might not go well if he's going in on the inside there, and that's kept Kelvinder back in 4th position right now. Meanwhile, Iman Danish has a fantastic turn of pace right now. We're only on the early stages of lap 2, and he's almost got a 2-second gap there between 1st and 2nd place. So Iman Danish in 1st place, Mika Hakimi in 2nd, Shami Azri is in 3rd, holding off Kelvinder Singh in 4th place there. But look at what happened. They've been battling a little bit, they've slowed down, they've let the first 2 cars go, and now we've got Mohammad Taki right behind Kelvinder Singh, and we've got Ayman Haziq closing up the gap right now. I think, ladies and gentlemen, for the 100th and 50th race running, we have an adrenaline impact midfield battle. Let's have a look at the driver cam of Mohammad Taki.
The midfield battle is actually a real battle, guys. Now Kelvinder Singh, Mohammad Taki and Ayman Haziq, and also in front of them is Shami Azri. One simple mistake.
That's all it takes.
I'm not gonna say anything, but this is the pace of how a pro category looks like, Max. It's really calm.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely, they've done a fantastic job there. We've only got 2 cars that have gone into the barrier there, which is surprising. Actually, it really is quite a bit different to how we thought the start would come out with. But I think going through the replay here, let's have a look. Jay Wong and Afiq Fadlan just carrying too much speed into the corner there. I think Jay was trying to brake as late as humanly possible because he saw Afiq feed him the nose of the car there. Meanwhile, this is the race leader, Iman Danish, right now in first position, and he's actually drawing away. No, he's not. He's actually being closed up by Mika Hakimi. Mika's just got the afterburners on. He was up at 1.8, 1.9 seconds. Now it's at 1.7 seconds there. So Iman's going to really have to start thinking about looking in the mirrors and trying to keep the pace up. Meanwhile, Umar Aziz, our pit lane correspondent there, just saying that Jay Wong's car looks like it's got quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, and he does. I do think that he does a lot of damage because he literally just banged the barrier just now.
Yeah, it
and
was
that might be an issue.
Coming up to there, it looks like Kavinder Singh getting very, very racy on the back of Shami Azri, going very wide, looking to the left, looking to the right there. He can really pick up the pace through this twisty section here. He's got the downforce, I think, to try and carry the speed through the corner there. But Shami Azri is very good coming out of here. And I think that's what's saving him right now. This is where Shami Azri's defense is coming in. But unfortunately, with 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second gap, it's still not enough to really break away from Kelvinder Singh because he's so fast through that second and third sectors. And you can see there, Jehan Iman Danish, very impressive. He is rocketing up front. He absolutely is, but he's got a little bit of stiff opposition there from Mika Hakimi, who's definitely turned his pace up.
We do know that Mika Hakimi is actually a person who adapt quite well with challenge and a new track. So we need to see the long run of this track.
Absolutely. And I think that's what Mika is going to try and do. He's going to try and keep the pace up, push Iman Danish for as long as possible, and try and do basically he's now in a position where he has to try and do a bit of a pit lane strategy. Kelvinder Singh coming in on the inside there. They've been battling for quite some time now between Shami Azri and Kelvinder Singh, going to lap 4 of the battle right now, and Taki and Ayman Haziq right behind them, really putting a lot of pressure on this group right now. This opening lap battle has been quite something. It's still very tactical. Nobody's making any big maneuvers right now, but I think it can blow up fairly soon, I think.
It depends on how they set their race strategy. Like Omar just had mentioned just now. Oh,
not quite there.
That caught me off guard, bro.
It did for me as well. I just saw it on the side of the road. I think Kelvinder Singh was using all of the brakes there and then some. But look, they're getting closer and closer. Ayman Haziq got a lot closer there right now, and getting closer and closer there to Noob Rises. GDL to the BSR boys, I believe that's good luck.
GGL. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Guys, good luck, GGL.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So now it's actually Ayman Haziq. He's getting a little bit closer and closer from time to time. I guess he chooses to drive safely just to make sure that he doesn't make any mistakes so that he can capitalize on other people's mistake, you know?
Absolutely. And that's the thing here right now. We can see that the battle is cooled off a little bit up the front there. I think they're getting a little bit ragged, and that's going to be a big issue if you keep pushing that fast through this section here. But so Ayman Haziq getting a little bit closer through these sections here. The interesting part about this race so far, between this 4-car battle, is that you can see that several of the drivers are faster in different sectors compared to others. So you can tell the low downforce car that Taki has definitely got a much lower downforce car. He's pulling away from Ayman Haziq. And Kelvinder Singh also has a lower downforce car there, but he's really good in the middle sector. In the slow speed corners, he's able to rotate the car and really catch up. So it's right now, what we're seeing here is a battle of setups more than anything else. Some of the cars very quick through the corners, some of the cars very quick through the straights. It's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out in the long run.
So different setups caters for different type of drivers. So this is what happened this is what we are watching right now. Actually, those people have a different kind of setup. Even Iman Danish and Kevin Singh, I do think that they have a different kind of setup. Just to be familiarized or be comfort to their own personal driving styles.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, further down the field there, I can see that Mohamed Zikri is getting very close to Nevsky Chin there. 4/10 of a second, 3/10 of a second. This is a lot of pressure for Nevsky to be under at this moment. And Jehan Han, they're saying they're definitely pros, can't be this clean in this track. Yeah, we're really surprised because normally everyone knows in iRacing that Road America is a very difficult track to race on, but these guys are making it look easy. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the replay there for Pagvinder Singh coming through turn 1 here, getting onto the gravel. What was I saying there? If you get a little bit too wide, they're just a touch too wide. He spins right the way around there, and I'm not too sure if he clobbered the barrier there, but it looks like he's definitely lost a lot of time.
Yeah, that was another unfortunate event for him. Wow, a barrier in this track is actually quite close to the track.
Yeah, they don't give you a lot of breathing room.
Yeah.
And if you notice on the exit of the corners, most of the corners here have gravel right on the exit. So grass, you might be able to catch it, but on gravel, you spin immediately. It's a crazy situation.
It's like a total different situation.
Yeah. I mean, my tactic for when I know I'm going to be running wide around here is I straighten up and actually take into the gravel and then try and turn my way out of it, because that's the only thing you really can do.
But the fact that this track has a very, like you said earlier, this track has a very small breathing area.
Yeah.
So when you go straight, you might hit the barrier.
Absolutely, you don't have much time to think once you get off track here. Meanwhile, Kavinder Singh's gotten really close now this time around. He's in slipstream zone. He definitely has a chance now. Looking to the left, looking to the right. He's going to go side by side, coming down towards the hill here. Shami Azri putting the big squeeze there, but they're going to go side by side. Who is going to take it coming down towards the hill here? Shami Azri on the inside, Kalvinder Singh on the outside. Not quite able to do it there, but a valiant effort there from Kalvinder Singh. His overtaking maneuver is going to come very, very soon there, but that was a valiant effort.
That was a really good maneuver that have been considered by Shami Azri actually.
Yeah,
a very good defensive.
Just making sure he can carry just enough speed into the corner there and sort out any of the issues later on. This is like racing on a tightrope around this track here. Every time you see a car pop out to the side, you really get a lot of attention there. Meanwhile, this battle between Nevsky Chin right now, he's got Afik Fadlan behind him. Afik Fadlan's just got his car back up and running again. Mohamed Zikri has now gone in front of Nevsky Chin, so this looks like another position lost here if he is not careful. Nevsky's got to really start pushing the car very hard indeed in order to try and keep Afik Fadlan behind him, because we know how quick he is. Meanwhile, Kalvinder Singh there in 4th position, still pushing hard for Shami Azri, and right now it's almost a waiting game there. With 12 minutes gone in this 1 hour race, it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. But right now it's like a high wire act mixed in with a chess match, all happening at 280 kilometers an hour.
Look at what Mika Hakimi had done, Max. He now is less than 1/10 of a second. Sorry, he's less than 1 second already.
Yeah, he was last time we checked in on the battle for first place, it was around 2 seconds, then it dropped down to 1.5 seconds. Now it's down to 0.7 seconds. Mika Hakimi right now, he's doing the Schumacher thing. He's pushing very, very hard in the early part of the race, treating it as a sprint race. That's the only way he could try and catch up with Iman Danish. Iman is a lot more of a consistent driver. He likes to drive at a very high tempo, high pace, but Mika Hakimi is able to push really hard at the beginning of the race and then back it down again to conserve the tires and then push hard again. He has a brilliant race control.
With the timing that we see, Max, between Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish, Mika Hakimi seems to be a little bit more consistent in terms of timing. And like Max said earlier, Iman Danish has a very rough and aggressive kind of drive, so that might take a toll on his tires and the mechanics of the cars itself.
Absolutely, you can see here that he's actually 0.5 of a second faster than Mohamed Iman Danish there. So 0.5 of a second over the course of a lap is pretty impressive. So you can definitely tell he's going to be using up his tyres quite a lot at the opening stint here. It'll be interesting to see what Iman Danish does in retaliation, in response to Mika's pace right now. Hard on the brakes there, going through the corner there. Zero Blinker brings up a good point there. Mika actually does superb in all the sims. He was a leader in EC too. So,
yeah. You know, Max, last week that when we talked to him, he said that he had 5 races.
Yeah.
This per week.
Yeah.
In different categories, different cars, and different tournaments.
Absolutely. In different sims as well. I mean, his main focus right now is in the RF2 Le Mans Championship, and he's doing fantastically there. Brilliant stuff indeed. But he's also quick in iRacing, he's quick in a set of Corsa, and basically everything he puts his mind to, he's able to really maximize it. That shows the versatility of a true pro level racer.
Both of them are actually born to be racing.
Mm-hmm. Especially Iman Danish. He comes from a racing background. His father, Epo, is another touring car racer here in Malaysia. In fact, Iman Danish, was it last week or a couple of weeks back? Yeah, he did his first time attack event, and that was really exciting stuff.
And he got podium.
Yeah.
That was really great.
So there you go, Iman Danish doing very well for himself. It'd be interesting to see how his career develops on in the future. But right now, as we were talking, Mika Hakimi is really closed up dramatically over the course of that lap there. As you can see, he gained 0.5 of a second, then 0.3 of a second, and now he's only 0.2 of a second behind there. Hard on the brakes going through the corner here. This could be very interesting. Mika Hakimi knows how hard it is to try and overtake on this track, but he's going to have to. He's going to have to try and overtake Iman Danish and try and pull up as much of a gap as possible, because I think Iman might be thinking of plan B and plan C in terms of strategy.
It depends on where Mika Hakimi will start to take his overtaking maneuver, and it depends on what Iman Danish. It depends on how Iman Danish will react to that. You know, some people, they just deliberately slow down the car so that the other person will caught off guard. You know, things like that happen in some races.
Absolutely, just those tricks of just adjusting your pace, faster or slower, just so that the guy behind you can't quite get the read that they need to try and overtake. Now, as you can see there, Mika Hakimi getting fairly close right now. The gap has opened up over this straight, but don't be fooled, that's still fairly close. And the gap will open up as they go over the crest there, coming down towards the first corner there, 0.4 of a second. And I think this might be close enough to slipstream and try and get alongside at turn 3. This could be very exciting. So hold on to your hats there, coming through turn 2. Two cars very close to each other there, the BSR machine at the back there, and the Hyperbulls machine at the front there. A little bit unsteady for both drivers. They're pushing very hard right now. For sure, Iman Danish wants to keep that lead as long as possible. Let's see how he goes defensive here, trying to slipstream there. Not quite enough drive there. He does look in on the inside, but unfortunately not too far away. I think Mika made a little bit of a mistake when he saw Iman go a bit wide there. Meanwhile, in the midfield battle there again, very, very tense stuff. You can feel the tension in this sort of stuff, because you're following behind him and you're just thinking, how do I get past him? What can I do differently from the car ahead? And the car ahead's thinking the same thing as well. He's tracking you behind as well. So this is going to be really difficult. And
it is more difficult when the track is really narrow, Max.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of tight corners, you know. It's just really hard to start to think about where should I make an effort. Mika is in the best position and situation right now. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. SM Hobbies got the right idea there. That's Shukran, also known as SM Hobbies. He's another jack of all trades. He's really quick in Dirt Rally 2.0 as well as in AC and in iRacing.
He's quick in everything.
Yeah.
In fact, he got 3rd place.
Yeah.
In the last 2 rounds, I think.
Yes. So he really is doing very well for himself, and I believe he's also doing the AAP Digital Asia Pacific Digital Rally 2.0 Championship right now. Meanwhile, Mika Hakimi does take that position there. Beautifully done. I don't think that in the end, Iman Danish tried to block too much. Iman Danish tried to block that move too much because there was definitely a pace difference there. But now Iman Danish is fighting back. He's actually tried to close up behind there. So I'm not too sure what happened here. I think Iman Danish might have played dead a little bit there. So that's going to be really clever.
And that's gonna be another strategy that been done by Iman Danish, I would say. Iman Danish now 0.3 behind. The gap between him and Mika Hakimi, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
He still can do something, you know.
Absolutely, could try and drive the pace of the car up ahead there. He's forcing Mika Hakimi to defend quite a bit right now, and he's really trying to push hard there. He's harrowing him through the tighter section here. I think you could see that Iman Danish has the slightly better setup. I think visually I could see he's running a little bit more wing, so through the tighter corners over in this middle part of the track, he can close up to Mika Hakimi quite a bit there. But the main trick here is to try and get close enough to the car in front as you get on the straight and try and draft your way past. It's almost like oval racing in a lot of ways here.
And this is a really long track and long straight, so that things work here, Max.
Yeah.
The strategy is different from track to track and from setup to setup, you know. And wow, this Iman Danish might make an effort here. No.
Not quite able to do it. You can see there, he's not too happy there. The reaction there from Iman Danish. On the outside didn't quite work. He's going to try on the inside, I think, the next lap, and perhaps in the middle or through the third lap. But you can see it's fantastic to be able to see the driver cams there, the real life reactions that are happening right now. SM Hobby is again saying they're playing a drafting game right now. Very interesting. It is interesting indeed. It's very interesting. It's awfully interesting right now. He is right on the back of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, you can just about read the serial number on that rain light on the back of that car here. Hard on the brakes there, but Mika Hakimi holds his nerve. He knows that it's very difficult to overtake through turn 1 there, so no matter how close Iman gets, Mika has an answer through there. But does he have an answer through turn 3?
That is the question that we want to ask right now. What do you think will happen in a turn 3?
This is going to be very difficult right now. Iman Danish is going to do the same thing again. 0.1 seconds right now between those two drivers. Again, Mika has to go on the inside. Iman's only option right now is to try and hang it out around the outside there. Not quite able to do it. And you can see that Mika has actually slowed the car down in the apex to make sure that he can make the exit as per normal. So very, very clever driving there. Again, the next overtaking opportunity will be after the carousel, going up through the curves and into that big braking zone.
You know that what Iman Danish has done just now, it's really a risky kind of maneuver. It's like what do we call that?
The bump drafting, yeah. He was very close to bump drafting there.
It was really a risky kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing with bump drafting is it's super difficult to do in anything other than a NASCAR race car, which is designed for it. But you have to lock into the rear bumper, and if you don't get that lock, if you don't really lock into the aerodynamics of the car ahead of you, you can have some big trouble. Coming through the corners here, we have this battle again. The Adrenaline Impact midfield battle still going on. Shami Azri still in 3rd position, but Kavinder Singh, I mean, he can't get any closer. At this point, he's going to have to try and overtake, otherwise he's going to be slowing both drivers down. So the battle in front now, currently also making the pack, the midfield pack catch up to the cars ahead right now. So you can see there, Shami Azri, the gap between Iman Danish and Shami Azri is 3.7 seconds. It's gone from 5 to 3.7 now, and it's actually closing up as we speak. Umar Aziz has his hand on the stopwatch right now, getting the times as it goes through. Shami Azri making his way up as these two fight. Yes, absolutely, that's what they're doing right now. But as you can see, all three of these cars very close together. Kalvinder Singh getting closer and closer and closer. Taki also looking, waiting and seeing, and you can see now, and this is the crucial part, all three of these cars can now see the cars ahead. This has just gotten very interesting.
This midfield battle has become a front pack battle, Max. It's gonna be a front pack battle. Now Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish still fighting right now up to the 12th lap. So there you go.
He might have caught it. He might have done something there. Still side by side. Oh, unable to close up that gap there. It looked like Iman Danish was just about able to get side by side with Mika Hakimi there. Unbelievable driving for both drivers there. Iman Danish with 2 tires on the grass. He's pushing that Porsche as fast as it'll go. 23 minutes have passed. This race has woken up big time. And coming through the carousel section here, you can see Iman actually can take that corner much tighter than Mika. Mika's struggling to keep it on the inside. You can see when we were doing the qualifying, that lap through, he was taking a very outside line through the first part there, but obviously Iman's found a way to keep the speed on the inside line here. 0.2 of a second, 1.6, 1.5, so 1/10 of a second there. He's going to go side by side into the braking zone here. Let's see if he can try and hang it around the outside. Mika Hakimi gives him some space there. They're side by side coming up through Canada corners, and it looks like Mika Hakimi just about able to keep that Porsche up ahead. Meanwhile, Iman Danish looking to the left, looking to the right, hard on the brakes there, coming up towards the start-finish straight there. This is going to be epic. Will there be more bump drafting? Will he be able to slingshot past? Let's have a look. We're riding on board with Iman Danish there. He's again going to run up on the inside wall there just to try and discourage any moves coming into turn 1. But is it going to be enough? Hard on the throttle there. He's going to go for it. He's going to go for it coming down towards the braking zone here. It looks like he's forced Mika to come in very tight there, and he's really harrowing Mika Hakimi right now. That was a brilliant move there. He's forced Mika to go defensive into turn 1, and that's closed up the gap big time. Coming down towards turn 3 now. This is going to be critical. This could be for the lead of the race right now. Let's see if Iman Danish can do anything here. He's got a longer straight down here. He's got a bigger braking zone at the end. Will he be able to do anything here? He has to go around the outside. Mika, very, very sly there. He managing to just claim that inside apex there, and it looks like he's unable to do anything through there. Brilliant racing stuff, but no, he's gone on the inside here. He's gone on the inside. Mika has made a mistake coming through there, just about managing to squeeze his way past Iman Danish. Unbelievable racing for these two at the front. Pure professional driving there. They're giving each other plenty of space, and they know they need to give each other plenty of space because there's not a lot of space to give in the first place.
Back in the third place, Shami Azri is actually 2.2 seconds behind. The gap has been closed by 1 second, Max. This fight, this is gonna be a big fight for tonight. This is gonna be the top highlight.
Absolutely. This 2-car battle might just turn into a 5-car battle. These 3 drivers have realized what's happening as those 2 cars are battling up ahead, and you can see there's another attempt to go for an overtake between Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish right now. Hard on the brakes through the outside there. They're not quite able to get that done. Meanwhile, Kavinder Singh and Taki and Shami Azri, these 3 cars, they can see what's happening up ahead. So now they're actually starting to work together. They're actually working as a team, in effect. A bit of a ad hoc team now, because they know their best chance of winning for all 3 of these cars if they could catch up with that battle up ahead.
And they might have done it, I would say. 1 second gap between 2 laps, and that is a big gap, Max. That is a big gap.
Absolutely, and it's going to happen again. Iman Danish trying again around the outside, still not quite able to do it, but he's putting Mika Hakimi under a lot of pressure here. It's down to Mika now. If he could try and keep his calm, keep his cool, and keep himself composed under all that pressure. Meanwhile, Taki there looking very racy behind Kelvinder Singh, just having a look in on the inside. It's forced Kelvinder to defend, and you can see the gap between Kelvinder Singh and Shami Azri has opened up quite dramatically because of that maneuver. So you can see how dangerous it is for these guys to try and battle with each other. But I think Taki is definitely desperate to try and overtake driving around here. Meanwhile, it looks like from the calculations of our pit lane reporter Umar Aziz, he's saying that Kelvinder is the only one saving fuel, it looks like, in this 5-car pack.
That we might see another 200 IQ pit strategy right now. We actually left with maybe 1 or 2 laps before they are going to pit.
Yes, we predicted to be lap 16 would be roughly the time you'd expect them to come in. But again, some of the drivers might come in early, some of the drivers might come in late. We believe, with the information we have, that Kelvinder Singh will be coming in late, around lap 18, lap 19 even. But this battle is still going on there. You can see there Mohammad Taki in the driver cam, cool as a cucumber. He knows that if anybody makes a mistake out in front, he is set to really earn some big points. He's in a great points position right now in 5th position, but if anything happens to the cars up ahead, or if there's any mistakes in the pit stops, he is going to be the big winner.
Yeah, that is also true, Mac. He just leave enough gap for him to react in case anything happen, and that might be a good strategy. Now it is the 28th minute, so we are actually waiting for when. Whoa,
look at that. Mika Hakimi, Iman Danish, Shami Azri and Kelvinder Singh have gone all into the pits at the same time. Muhammad Taki takes the lead of the race. Now this is going to be critical for Taki. He's going to have to pull off a qualifying lap or 2 qualifying laps as fast as that Porsche will go. This has changed the complexion of the race big time. It's now a race of the pit stops. And let's see if Mika Hakimi, Iman Danish, or any one of those guys can try and sort something out. Ayman Haziq is also with the pits. Everyone is in the pits there. Muhammad Taki might have just made that 200 IQ move.
We talked about this with Taki last Tuesday, and he talked about pit strategy is really important in this kind of race. So now he's done it. He's done it. We need to see his result.
Absolutely. Cool as a cucumber, knocking on wood.
Ketuk kayu.
Ketuk kayu.
There you go,
So
Mika
there it
Hakimi.
look at that. Mika Hakimi coming out there, Mohammed Zikri, and all the other drivers coming out there right now. But it looks like Mika Hakimi's managed to get the jump on Iman Danish as they come out toward the pit. The race battle has started up again. And it's Mika Hakimi in 4th, Iman Danish in 5th, Shami Azri in 6th place, Kelvinder Singh in 7th position, but Kelvinder getting very racy behind that Porsche of Shami Azri. That's very close stuff indeed. This has really changed the race right the way around, and it looks like he's going to try and go in around the outside there. Will he be able to make it work? Can he slipstream? He's side drafting, and he's managed to get the nose of the Porsche ahead, but he's running out of real estate right now, hard on the brakes, and it looks like Kelvinder Singh has to go in around the outside, into the inside. He's going to try and dive in on the inside. Shami tries to defend. He does give him enough room there, coming through the corner there, and Kelvinder Singh manages to make it underneath the Corvette banner and on to 6th position. Unbelievable stuff there. That's could put him in effectively a podium place.
He does a very good maneuver, trying to overtake with a very small effort. Actually, he doesn't need a lot of push. And Taki going on to the pit lane right now.
Is 30 seconds enough? That's going to be the question for Muhammad Taki. Is 30 seconds enough for him to get into the pits, pit stop, and come back out in time? I think it might be if he doesn't take too much fuel on. So this is going to be the critical stop right now. This is going to determine the race.
This pit lane is too long, Max.
Yeah.
That is the problem. It's too long. It's just from the pit point to just from the entrance towards the pit position, it might take like a few seconds already.
So Zikri's gone in, Afiq Fadlan's gone in. Let's see where Mika Hakimi is out on track. He's going to come across the line there, and looks like Taki might not be able to get that pit stop done in time. It was worth going for it, but he needed a bit more of a gap. It looks like 32 seconds is going to be more of the gap that you might need, but he is very, very close indeed. He was pulling out there, unable to pull off across in front of him, but he's managed to get himself up into 3rd place if he can defend from Kelvinder Singh. And Kelvinder's got the hot tires, he's got the hot brakes, he's got everything right now. This could be very dramatic indeed. Kelvinder Singh going on the outside, almost throwing it into the grass there, but that's given an opportunity to Shami Azri right now. That has changed the battle between these two drivers quite a lot now. We're seeing Taki head off ahead. So this is going to be very exciting stuff indeed there. The hearts are pounding. And let's see if Shami Azri could do anything through here. He is catching up hand over fist right now, coming down towards the braking zone here. He might not be able to do anything on this side of the track, but further on around the lap, there is possibly a bit of a scuffle there for Kelvinder Singh. But Taki there managing to get himself up into 3rd position from pit stop.
Yeah, he was actually behind Kelvinder, behind Shami Azri when he going into the pit. But right now, he got 3rd position, and this is the pit strategy that he has been talking about.
Absolutely, he's gained 2 positions there through that pit stop. Fantastic stuff there. Not quite a 200 IQ maneuver, but definitely using all 150 IQ that he's obviously has.
It's worth it. It is worth it.
The offset strategy can really be very useful in these sort of situations. If everyone's going into the pits, let's just go out there, push the car to its ragged edge and see what we could get. Meanwhile, Iman Danish is still right behind Mika Hakimi right now. They've gone through the pits at the same time. They've come out of the pits at the same time. They've neutralized any advantage they could have in the pit stops right now. They've obviously filled up with the same amount of fuel, at the same amount. They've made the same decision with the tyres as well. They probably kept the tyres that they started the race with. So now it's down to those two to try and really push the cars hard. And again, we have a resumption of this battle. Let's see if Iman Danish could do anything here, coming down, slipstreaming towards turn 1. Not quite far enough yet, but 0.2 of a second, that's mighty close.
What do you think, Mac? If they keep on the tyre just now, will it hold until the end of the race?
That's going to be very tricky.
It's affect their lap time too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody has in fact changed their tyres further down the field there, they could have the race come towards them towards the end of the race. They might be able to pick off a few places very easily. And it makes me wonder about Taki there. I'm not too sure if he got tyres on the car there, or if Shami Azri has gotten tyres there as well. But Iman Danish getting mighty close there, coming down towards the braking zone. He's going to take the outside line, try and get the speed coming up the hill and towards the Corvette bridge. Hard on the throttle there, not quite able to do it through here, but we know how fast Iman Danish is through these middle sectors.
Mika Hakimi is actually doing a very great job trying to defend, and from lap 12, I think, now it's been 5 laps and he has been composed and full of mental strength, trying to avoid any mistake and trying to be calm as possible. We're getting pressure from behind from Iman Danish.
Absolutely here, but just look through the carousel section there. It looks like Mika might have picked up a couple of tips there from Iman Danish, because he's a mighty bit quicker going through there compared to his opening stint. So he's definitely had some interesting moments there. Mohamed Zikri, let's have a look at this replay. Hard on the brakes there, and ooh, that's a big crash there from Zikri. A huge impact. He lost it under the brakes there, all on his lonesome, and that just goes to show how difficult it is. You get over the wrong bump when you're too hard on the brakes, and the car just snaps on you.
The car doesn't favor any emergency brakes. It's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Bam, and that hits really hard to Mohamed Zikri. Oh my god.
Absolutely. He had a fantastic run going there right now, but now he's being towed back into the pits, and we're hoping that he might be able to get the car running again, but it's now listed as 13th place in the pits, and we fear out of the race there, although we'll get Umar to check on him later on. Meanwhile, this battle for the race lead, it didn't look like it was going to be a very exciting race, but it has developed into a brilliant battle between the first two places.
We have been longing to see a battle between first and second places, Max.
Absolutely. This really brings the race complexion alive coming through this section here. Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi hard on the throttle there. You can see Iman Danish even take it to the gravel there to try and get as much advantage as he can. He has to make it up through the next 3 or 4 corners there, because I think Mika Hakimi has worked out what Iman Danish was doing to get faster through the carousel there. Ooh, a little bit sideways on the grass there. Iman is using all of the grip he has left in that Porsche. I think we can see that the cars are sliding around just a little bit more. This makes me believe that these two drivers definitely are on the old tyres that they started the race with, but you can tell that the racing lines they were using before, the speeds and the feeds that they were using before, not quite able to do...
You know, the slip angle change from time to time. Yep. When your tires wear, when you have less fuels, things like that happen. And if you keep on taking the same line, you need to have a very good understanding of that line.
Yeah, absolutely. And you must be able to change the line as well. Later on, when the cars really lose grip and they're light on fuel, there's not a lot of weight pushing the car to the ground, and it gets a little bit skittish, but starts getting a little bit faster, then you really have some issues there. Umar Az is there reporting Mika might have a bit more experience on this type of car and this kind of racing than Iman Danish, but looking at the data and all the rest of that sort of stuff there, but Iman Danish is doing a fantastic job there in second place, really pushing the race leader quite hard. There's still only half a second between these two drivers after all these laps. Meanwhile, Afiq Fadlan there is in the pits, and I believe he's actually gone into the pits twice now. So we're not too sure if he's picked up some damage. It does look like a little bit of a second-hand Porsche right now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Basically, what happened between Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi, one of them need to have a good understanding upon their opponents. You know,
Yeah,
how to attack. Iman have to have that. This is where he lack. This is where I'm good at. You know.
So we have the report there from our pit lane reporter Umar. Zikri is out of the medical center, is okay, but he will be taking no more part in this race, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully we'll be able to see him in the next round, and we hope to see him do a little bit better than this race, because he was doing quite well.
That was actually a big impact, Max.
Yeah,
Even if he got back to the race, I don't think the car will be tahan.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't last too long. Yeah, absolutely. So Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish, still half a second between them. This is killing me right now. You know, at some point throughout the course of this race, around the 45 to 50 minute mark, that someone is going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And they're that close constantly, all of the time. We've seen it in Formula One, we've seen it in Le Mans, we've seen it in IMSA, in IndyCar.
It happened everywhere.
It happens everywhere. If you're
everywhere.
battling for that long, they've been battling for almost 20 minutes at this point. It could get, nerves get frayed, and you just start to lose that mental focus.
You know how tiring it is to battle for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And this has been on and on and on and on for the whole 40 minutes. It's not just like...
Looks like Iman Danish is actually getting very close to Mika Hakimi there, coming into the first corner there, getting very close to each other there. Race control saying 20 minutes left in this race, and it looks like we might have a change for the lead here. Look at how close Iman Danish is. It looks like Mika Hakimi might have made a slight mistake in that final corner there. Perhaps Iman Danish finally got close enough to try and slipstream coming out of the corner there, and it looks like Mika is going to try and claim that inside line well in advance. He's booked his spot about 2 weeks in advance there for the inside of that corner, coming down towards the back straight there. Looks like Iman not quite able to get around far enough around the outside to do anything through here, but it looks like Iman Danish has definitely woken up. He's turned his pace up big time.
There you go. Iman Danish has a very good maneuver getting in and out of that corner just now. He actually has managed to close the gap between them. Set for Jay, come back stronger next race. Yeah, all the best for Jay. What happened just now is
It is very
really
unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to do that mistake there at Canada corners. Just a slight misjudgment and you get thrown off into the gravel. It really is quite unfortunate there. But we know he's quite quick, and I know he can get back.
Yeah, he has been doing quite great for the past two races, I think. Yeah. But all the best for Jay next race. So now we are here. Iman Danish is actually closing up the gap again. I don't think he's trying it.
I don't think he can try it, because Mika has fed the car onto the inside just a little bit, just to give that hint that if he sees Iman going for it, he's going to close the door really quickly through there right now. Mika is putting on a fantastic display of defensive driving at the moment there. He's doing everything he possibly can to try and make sure that Iman can't do anything in retaliation, in response to Mika's driving. So you can see that he's already claimed that turn 1 apex from quite far away. So now Iman's trying to go around the outside, and again Mika defends again, just using that one move rule just perfectly, coming through the bridge here into the second corner. Again, too close to call at this point. There's just nose to tail, and they've been nose to tail for so long. Ooh, looks like Mika's gone a little bit wider than Iman right now, coming down towards turn 3. Let's see what's going to happen next.
You know, when they have been battling for this long, experience does play a big role in these kind of battles. It's not just your pace, your experience, your understanding in racecraft might makes a big turn. There you go.
Looking at it, I think we just realized on the timing screens there that Taki is getting mighty close to the back.
In fact, you can see that the Taki timing is actually faster than them right now.
Yeah, he is lapping almost a second and a half faster than the rest of than the other two drivers there. So Taki, I think he might have actually taken some tires on. That looks like somebody who's either taken some tires on or he's managed to save whatever tires he had for long enough so that now he's got the grip. He knows that those two cars ahead are battling, and again he's going to use the same tactic he used earlier on. He's going to hang back and he's going to just make sure that if anything happens to those two, he's got the win.
Yes, that is how you capitalize on other people's mistake. And that sounds so bad, but it's actually a strategy or a things that work when you race.
Absolutely, it's a perfectly valid way of winning a race. You've got to cross the finish line first before
you got first.
Yes. To finish first you must finish.
Yes, exactly. Now Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi, they have been fighting, and we have 15-minute marks left.
Absolutely, big move there from Iman Danish coming down towards the braking zone here. Hard on the throttle coming around the outside of the bend there, but it doesn't look like he managed to get close enough. Mika feels like he needs to defend though. I think he's starting to get a little bit of desperation creeping in, just making sure he's making more moves than I think he necessarily needs to. 0.2 of a second now between Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish. Let's see if they could do anything coming down the straight here. He's trying to slipstream, he's trying to look to the left, to the right. Mika's parked that car in the middle of the track. He needs to leave all of his options open right now. Hard on the brakes here for Iman Danish. He's not quite able to just get the car around the outside, but look at what happened there. Taki has just gained yet another chunk of time. That's 0.7 of a second just through those few corners there. Taki, I think, might be a dark horse in this race.
Taki has been changing. The Taki time gap has been changing from white to yellow to orange. Get back to yellow. And now, from the battle of people who get what we call that, who get advantage from Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish battle is actually Taki right now.
Not only that, but Kelvinder Singh is also catching up. It was over 3 seconds then. Now it's down to 1.9 seconds now. I believe Taki has got a much faster pace than the two cars ahead, and so has Kelvinder Singh right now. This race has just woken up big time. In 15 minutes, can Taki get past Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi? Catching them is one thing, but trying to get past Mika Hakimi is quite another thing entirely. Iman Danish has been trying for the last 45 minutes or so, and he's still not quite able to get past him as well. But of course, Kelvinder Singh is behind him. He's dropped back a little bit, but you can see the battle coming up ahead. When you can see first, second, and third right in front of you, that really gives you massive motivation to try and catch back up.
That's correct, Max. Right now, what happened between Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi and Taki is actually a battle of mental strength. Who can tahan for the whole race?
Absolutely. Let's have a look at the instant replay of Shami Azri there. Coming onto the straight there, he gets very wide. How did he not spin that car? That was unbelievable stuff there from Shami Azri. He managed to keep that car under control through what must feel like a wild ride.
That was a superb save.
Yeah,
that was a superb save.
I know it just looks like he drove across the grass, but he drove across the grass while having the wheel cranked right over to the right.
Yeah, and it's not easy to do that with... It's Porsche. This is not DCR.
Yeah,
this is a full power car.
Absolutely. Taki is really closed up now this time around. That defensive maneuver from Mika Hakimi has robbed all the pace from himself and Iman Danish, and now this 2-horse battle is now turned into a 3-horse race. Coming through this closing section here, Taki has the pace, he has the grip, he has the ability to catch up with them. Now he has to work out how to get past them, and the key thing here, if he has a grip advantage, is how he gets around the famous carousel. Look at that. Mika has to go really wide to try and keep the pace up. Iman can hug it on the inside, but Taki, he's just rolling through that corner pretty much to try and catch up there. He's lost a little bit of time there because you can see the two drivers taking very, very different wide lines right now. And I think, again, Taki is just waiting. He's waiting for the mistake to happen. And I think he's looking for at least second place, if not the lead of the race right now. Hard on the brakes there. You can see Mika going defensive again. Iman Danish closes up the gap big time there. And Taki takes another chunk of time coming through mechanic the corners here. Last section of the lap. Hard on the throttle there. He's using all of the tarmac right now. He can close right up to the back of Iman Danish right now. If he can get a good drive out of the corner there, he can slipstream there. He could even get past both of them right now. But now he's joined the slipstream train, and Mika Hakimi has another big headache right behind him.
With 12 minutes left, what will happen between Mika, Iman and Taki? We need that answer. We need the result of what happened tonight.
Absolutely, you can see that Taki still cool, calm and collected right now behind the wheel there. He knows what he can do. He's still fresh mentally. When you're catching someone, you can really just sit there and focus on your driving. But when you've been battling for this long, they've got to be a little bit more worn out, I would think. It would be amazing stuff if you can actually keep going, coming down the road there. I just noticed Taki was actually smoking. We do apologize there. We don't condone smoking on this thing. But
how chill is that? He is fighting for position right now.
I'm sure. I am absolutely sure.
And
that
he was like, relax jap lah.
Did we just see the Malaysian version of Bunta Fujiwara?
Exactly. He is actually fighting for position. This is a pole position that we are talking about. This is not the 9th or 10th place or 11th place, you know. This is a pole position that we are talking about.
Absolutely. He's just there. He's waiting. He's piling on the pressure the best way he knows how. It's a lot like in the old days with Ilham Alabi, just intimidating, just being behind there, just knowing, being seen and being right behind him.
That is definitely his driving style.
Absolutely. So this is brilliant stuff there. 10 minutes to go in the race. Mika Hakimi still in the lead of the race. Iman Danish is only 0.4 of a second behind, and Muhammad Taki is a further 6 or 7 tenths behind that. But it's getting closer and closer. It looks like he's rolled off the pace just a little bit. He might be expecting a rather dramatic action to happen up ahead. Meanwhile, Nevsky Chin and Parvinder Singh, both drivers driving for the same livery there, same team. This is both of them are basically with the same RC Racing banner for this event. Coming around the fast corner there, let's see if Parvinder Singh can get a pass on his teammate Nevsky Chin. Of course, we've often talked about team tactics and letting another driver pass, but I can tell you from experience that the one person you desperately want to beat is your teammate.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Be it, even if we favor our teammates, we want to be better than them.
Absolutely. So Nevsky Chin, I guarantee will be pushing as hard as possible until the directive comes down, that's for sure. And even then, it's going to be a good race for these two drivers, being both in the points. Definitely well-deserved points there for those two drivers. Meanwhile, Iman Danish still trying that move around the outside. Eventually it'll work, he's saying, coming hard on the throttle there. He hasn't been able to get around the outside of Mika Hakimi, but he has been able to slow him down because Mika has to turn in from the inside of the corner and he has to exit from the inside of the corner as opposed to the outside. He can't take the usual racing line through there, and every time he does that, he slows the car down and wears the tyres even more. Iman Danish there in second position, Muhammad Taki there in third place. Half a second between all three cars there, and it's going to be epic if Mika can pull this off because he's got a whole train of cars behind him. And look at that, Kelvinder Singh getting closer and closer and closer. With 2.2 seconds the gap, now it's 1.7 seconds between Kelvinder Singh and Muhammad Taki. So this 3-horse battle might just turn into a 4-horse battle.
Max, this has been the most exciting and the most clean race that we have been watching, Max.
Absolutely. It didn't look like it was going to be a very exciting race, but now we're on the edge of our seats with how this is going to end up.
We was like, oh, okay, what is the result? Who's going to be...
Whoa, that's a big sideways moment there from Iman Danish, and that's put the race right into Taki's hands there. And that was a big mistake. The mistake has come, and it was Iman Danish that got the car very sideways there. Not too sure if you can see a replay of that, but as Zero Blinker said, last couple of laps are going to be insane. Let's have a look at Taki. Can he get anywhere closer there? It looks like Iman's defending a little bit. Taki is going to look around the outside. Iman dives back onto the outside there as well. But Taki there really benefited a lot from that, and Mika Hakimi as well. The gap is now 1 second. I think that was the move of the race. Mika just putting Iman under so much pressure that finally one of them had to crack, and that was Iman Danish. That small twitch, that small sideways movement that we all know from Porsche racing has robbed, I believe, Iman of that position there.
Small mistake, like a very small tweak. And this is the result.
Absolutely. And Omar Aziz there, pit lane reporter, reporting that if Taki can work on his mid-corner speed compared to Iman, he can absolutely take P2 right now. So that is the insight that we're getting there from Umar. If he can get that speed at the apex of the corner, he will be able to get P2. So that's going to be the challenge for Malaysia's Bunta Fujiwara there.
The pace between Iman Taki and Mika Hakimi is actually, instead of 203 just now it's 204 up to 205.
Yeah, so you can tell that the cars are definitely slowing down quite a lot right now. It looks like Mika Hakimi is able to really open up the gap there, and it looks like Iman Danish is able to sort of collect himself, gather himself back up again, and start to try and pull away from Taki. That was so close to being a major move there from Taki, but I mean, you have to say the podium position drivers have really earned it this time around at this race. It's been so hard for them to just keep that concentration up for nearly an hour.
Yeah, and it's really hard for them to just keep on their pace, you know. So okay.
So yeah, we just had a quick chat with our producers there. We've been so engrossed in the race there that we're just we haven't quite set up the driver of the day for the pro class, but we can say that it's going to be between Mika Hakimi, Iman Danish, Mohammad Taki, and Kelvinder Singh, as it I think quite rightly should be. This battle at the front of the field has really shown off how high the level of profession is.
This is a really pro,
Absolutely.
professional kind of race. And one of the hardest track that we have.
Absolutely.
One of the narrow track that we have.
Absolutely. But it looks like Iman Danish has actually been able to catch up quite a bit to Mika Hakimi this time around. He's gotten very close. Did Mika make a mistake? I wonder. I think we might have missed that mistake from Mika Hakimi. He's gotten very close indeed. But it looks like there's a lot of push and pull. That section underneath the Corvette Bridge, Iman is incredibly fast.
Yeah, we can see that difference between the advantage that Iman has and the disadvantage of Mika. You know, when they drive, they have a different. They really took a different line.
Yeah.
Mika have to slow down his car just to defend.
Yeah. Absolutely, and is now coming back to it now. 56 minutes have passed in this 1 hour race, only 4 minutes to go, 3.5 minutes to go, and Iman Danish is actually caught back up to Mika Hakimi. Unbelievably, Iman has managed to put his foot down and find just a little bit more grip, a little bit more pace right now coming up towards Mika Hakimi. This is fantastic stuff there. This is going to put Iman Danish right in there in the championship hunt right now. Coming through the final quarter here and up the hill using all of the track that they possibly can. 3.5 tenths of a second is the gap. And it's really down to the hundreds now. 2.8 tenths of a second there, coming down towards the pit wall there. That cameraman with a fantastic view of the battle coming down towards the braking zone here. And again, he's had to force Mika to go defensive. This is unbelievable stuff. And as you can see there, SM Hobby is hoping that once the backpack arrives, Mika will put on his nitrous. that is his nickname for the driving skill, obviously, rather than an actual NOS button. Although I sure wish I had one half the time.
But Iman Danish and Mika actually have shown a big roles of sportsmanship and mental strength right now, Max.
Absolutely. This is an absolute masterclass in the defending and attacking all throughout this race here.
The whole race, man.
Absolutely.
We are talking about the whole 1 hour race. Oh my god.
Indeed, he has backing right up through the corners here. It looks like Iman's got the pace going through that section there. Will Mika be able to respond to this current uptick in performance from Iman Danish? And Taki is also closing up as well. So is Mika struggling a little bit on the tyres? hard on the corner there. It looks like they were almost side by side going through the massive left-hander there, the carousel, coming down towards this back straight here. This is going to be, I think, Iman's best opportunity. There's going to be a lap 29. There might even be a lap 30 at this pace. Let's have a look. Coming down towards the braking zone here. Again, Mika just throws that car on the inside and cleans position, says, not today, I'm having that position right now. Coming up towards the hill here, through the Canada curves again, and you can see Taki's gotten much closer to the back of Iman Danish. So Iman's in a very difficult position here. He might be attacking as much as he can Mika Hakimi right now, but Taki is also attacking him. So Iman Danish has to attack and defend at the same time.
I heard about Max saying that we are watching inside. Right now we are watching inside.
This is pure IMSA style racing.
IMSA.
Around the outside again, just to try and force Mika into a tighter line again. Let's see if he can actually go. He can't get any closer right now. And Taki also can't quite get any closer as well. So this could be back to where we were before. Lap 29 has indeed passed, and time is about up on this race. We'll give you a thought of that. And Kavinder Singh just a little bit further behind.
He need to tunduk lah, Kavinder Singh.
And yeah, he is just a little bit further behind there. I think his winch had snapped.
Yeah.
And didn't quite pull ahead there. Vote for your favourite driver, pro driver of the day between Mika Hakimi, Iman Danish, Muhammad Taki and Kalvinder Singh. Because let's face it, the top four at the top of the field, definitely driver of the day material this time.
Yeah, I would agree with you. There you go. We are still watching Iman Danish, Taki, Mika Hakimi and Kalvinder Singh. It's been 1 hour race and they have been fighting for the whole 1 hour. Wow, Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish has shown us a very, very big difference on how pro categories will go.
Absolutely. Kavinder Singh is closing up, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch him. But Iman Danish and Mika Hakimi, that's the battle we want to be looking at right now. Hard on the throttle here. This is going to be desperation hour right now. Iman Danish hard on the brakes there. They're going to go side by side. They touch. And Iman Danish is off. He's off the track there. And he's dropped down to 4th place to 5th place. That's unbelievable stuff there right now. Mika Hakimi trying his hardest to go up through Canada corner there. And Muhammad Taki, it looks like they had a bit of a contact there, but it looks like Mika Hakimi might be able to get himself across the finish line there in first position. And that is the checkered flag there. Mika Hakimi comes across the line to take first on the road here. Muhammad Taki in 2nd place and Kalvinder Singh in 3rd position. Unbelievable end to the race there. Finally, it came to a head in the final corner of the final lap there. Mika Hakimi obviously a little bit concerned for what happened regarding Iman Danish there. Muhammad Taki there, he must be pleased with that 2nd place.
Taki was like, I knew it. But that was so unfortunate for Iman Danish. He has been fighting a lot for the whole 1 hour race.
Absolutely. So there you have it. Let's have a look at the replay here, and you can see there was something happening between Iman Danish and the car up ahead. I'm not sure if we can get another camera angle on that. Hard on the corner then. It looks like Iman just turned in a little bit too early there, and that was very, very unfortunate stuff indeed. He could have made it around the corner perhaps, but unfortunately didn't quite make it work there. So in the end, the battle has to go there to Mika Hakimi. Unbelievable stuff there.
That was so good.
Absolutely. And I think between the battle between Mika Hakimi and Iman Danish, both those drivers for me are my personal favorites for this race.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Max. Taki has got a big advantage, trying his best to just keep on with them for the whole second half of the race.
Absolutely. And another thing, again, we don't talk about this driver enough, I think. Kalvinder Singh has in fact got himself up into 3rd position, sort of out of the mind of everything else. We saw him catching up this battle.
This is the thing that we talk about.
Yeah.
Kalvinder is so good and he is so consistent that he managed to avoid every single incident.
I'm pretty sure there's a sensor where he can use to actually avoid all of our cameras. That's how serious he is. He's got the stealth solution down there, but we definitely have to give a shout out to Kelvinda there. Very well deserved P3 there. But that battle, oh my god.
If it was me, Max, for the first 40 minutes, I will crack. I would have
cracked in the first 5 minutes.
Wow. And you have been sandwiched between Mika and Taki from behind it. It's really hard.
Absolutely there. But there we see Taki in second position, and now we see Kelvinda in third position. But Mika Hakimi has taken yet another win. So that's going to be
he's gonna be glad with that win.
Yeah, so that is going to be a good bit of good sort of warm up, I suppose. But now we're gonna have to get excited for the AM race. If you thought the pro race was exciting, it was a nice high-speed chess battle. I don't think any of our TCR drivers really understand the concept of chess.
No chess.
I think it'd be a bit more like boxing and a bit less like chess.
More like a brawl, I see.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to head over there. We're going to wait for all the mechanics to get the cars ready, and we will bring you the action as soon as they are back out on track in a few moments' time. So do stay tuned. The most exciting race I think you're going to see in a long time is coming right up.
It's going to be good.
So there you have it. We will be back shortly within the first 5 minutes or so for the AM race, but until then, stay tuned.
LamboPlace. LamboPlace. LamboPlace.
Good evening, we're back here for the Trumpet International Racing E-Series. I'm your host Max Palmer, with me in the studio is Inche Budi, and what a race we had there in Pro.
Wow, that was a really good race. Max was talking about IMSA, and I said that was the IMSA level of race.
Absolutely. And speaking of the race, the Pro Driver of the Day we can reveal was in fact Mika Hakimi, and very well deserved that.
Yeah, he really deserved that.
Absolutely. All of the nominees were, I think, especially quite well. But now we're going to go back to Road America now for the one of perhaps the best categories of racing I've seen.
This is most weighted categories.
Absolutely. We're here with the excitement, with the thunder, with the action here, with the TCR category cars there. They're just completing their outlaps in qualifying right now. Let's see where we're going to find the driver of the day here.
So there you go. We have Zainul Hazim, one of the contender for this championship.
Absolutely. Coming up towards the start-finish line here. Let's have a ride on board with Zainul Hazim on his first qualifying lap here. Hard on the throttle there, coming down towards the braking zone here. And let's have a look there. You can see that James Russell, in fact, has claimed provisional pole position here. 5 minutes into qualifying, he's drawn first blood there. 2:19.836. What a lap time there from James Russell. We were expecting a 2:20 pole time. 2:19's a quick. And I think there's quite a few drivers there on the same level as James Russell. So this could be a very exciting qualifying session, I think.
Isn't 290 is really quick, actually?
It's very quick.
Yeah. We were expecting 220, 221. Yeah, that is the pace for this kind of track. But James Russell has done it.
Indeed, he has.
He managed to say that it's not impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. Not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. Right now we're having a look at Zainul Hazim there. He's going around the corner. What you're going to notice here, we're going to have a look at his throttle trace, at his choice of gears here. There's some sections on this track that you could just about go flat out, where you couldn't in the Porsche 911. And there's also some sections of the track where you can't go flat out in these cars because they don't really have a very good aerodynamics. So this deliberately so is to make the racing more exciting.
Oh yeah, you have mentioned just now, and the third sector, I think they can't go flat out.
In fact, this corner right ahead here, coming out of the corner here, you see this flat out left hand kink. He has to just lift off a little bit in order to make that curb.
Oh, that was scary.
That is very scary indeed. If you mess up with that lift, you can't lift all the way off the throttle and get all the way back onto the throttle. Umar Aziz, in fact, has driven around this track before, and Master Seth as well. And what his comments were is that you really have to be able to brake very late in order to get the car to rotate into the corners. This is a technique that rally drivers have perfected over the years, driving on very slippery surfaces to try and get the car turned in.
Especially on the front wheel drive.
Absolutely. So you do definitely have to drive like that. So yeah, we just have a comment there from Mika Hakimi, our driver of the day. Hope everyone enjoyed that battle. Shame what happened to Iman Danish there. A bit of netcode involved as well. So that would explain why perhaps it did appear a little bit strange. But that's, for those of you who don't know at home, netcode is when the car appears to shift positions ever so slightly due to a network connection issue.
Yes, and that happened in most of the race.
Yeah, that's why it's always important to leave just a couple of inches extra space when you need to.
When you are racing, it's hard to leave space, you know?
Absolutely. Muazzam Zaire, Gaskun, his fans will be up and celebrating right now. The Honda driver has managed to get that car up into third place, breaking the Hyundai hegemony right at the front of the field there. Now, the drivers have been able to switch cars over the course of this championship just to give each and every one of them the best possible chance there, because obviously the different cars have slightly different handling characteristics. They have the same power to weight ratio, same aerodynamics. The only difference is really the shape of the car. The Audi's a little bit heavier at the back compared to the Honda, for instance.
So a little different between a weight and their what we call that, their wheelbase. Yeah, a wheelbase is actually play a big difference between a tight corner, a long straight, and stabilities of the car itself.
Absolutely. Right now, we have perhaps one of the most international grids in a long time. We have the championship leader right now, Han An from South Korea. It's always a joy to talk to him in the post-race shows. Who knows, we might be able to talk to him again, but he's doing very well for himself in this championship. We also have Rinaldi Edo from Indonesia, who has been doing very well. Very quick driver there, perhaps just a little bit unlucky at times. And of course, we have Fred Ting from Brunei, driving that Honda Civic. They're all part of the same Mean Machines setup there as well. Of course, from Australia, we have Lloyd Lachlan, a real veteran in sim racing and in real-life motorsports as well, from way back in the day. We have Francis Matrillo from the Philippines there, along with Abdul Hakim from Brunei. And of course, we have his teammate, Aldo Ray Balagulan, as well. And you also have Wang Jian and Jeffrey Con. So a real mix of drivers for the Malaysians to race against.
This is what we call a really, not cross country, a really cross region race.
Yeah.
You know? The whole region is come together and race at the same place, same time. There's a lot of people who are representing Malaysia actually, because our HQ is in Malaysia, so definitely there's a lot of people from here. But we might see more participants from other countries on the next few championship, I think.
Absolutely, and this is brilliant stuff indeed, because it gives the opportunity from the drivers of each region to compete against each other. And when you're competing against different people, as you know, there's different driving styles, different things you can learn. The Malaysian driving style has always been very aggressive, very deep on the brakes into the corners, taking risks there. But you see from the South Koreans that a more smooth, measured approach, a la Schumacher, sort of just making sure the pace is enough to get ahead. That can also work quite well. And of course, the Bruneians, what can you say? They're out there to have fun, and their pace really comes from having fun.
Yes, and one thing that I love about these Bruneians, because I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
So one thing that they really love is just be consistent and make sure that they end their race.
Absolutely. I mean, I know from speaking to guys like Fred Ting and the gang, basically, that their main focus is to try and avoid all the accidents. They'd rather watch them rather than actually be involved in them, and all the rest of that sort of stuff as well. So the Mean Machine guys holding the Bruneian end up quite admirably, I should say.
Yes, correct, Max. Now James Russell, behind him, just a 1/10 of a second, is actually Han An.
Yes, the next driver to get into the 219s there, Han An. Let's see if James Russell can try and open that gap up just a little bit. He's gone quicker in 3 sectors so far. This could be a spectacular lap coming across the line here. Let's see what he could do coming across the line there. Han An unable to improve. James Russell has been able to improve. 219.545. What a lap there.
That was a good one.
Brilliant stuff indeed. We see quite a few drivers that could have a possibility to improve their lap time. Jeffrey Con has a big chance of improving his lap time, but unfortunately unable to complete that lap. Let's see if Lloyd Lachlan can improve on his position there coming across the line. Let's keep an eye out on his time there. Across the line, he should be able to improve with that. 221.224. Oh, he must have just lost a little bit of time on that last sector.
I've tried driving this car on this track last week, Max, last Tuesday, and it's not easy.
Oh,
I would say it's not easy.
It definitely is quite difficult, because if you drive the car in normal manner, you will get a lot of understeer.
Yeah.
Very hard to turn the car in, so you have to be able to spike the brake pedal, left foot brake, and do all the usual front wheel drive rally driving tricks of just doing everything you can to keep the nose of the car into the inside of the corner. And part of it's down to the geometry of the corners, how the course flows. And this is definitely not a racetrack that was built by moving dirt around or anything like that. It was just laid down on the ground, like those old school tracks. But also, it's got a fairly old school surface as well. You don't have the same amount of grip here as you do at, say, Red Bull Ring.
I realized that left foot braking does play a big difference in your time. Well, I can see that James Russell have that.
Absolutely, and he's definitely got a lot of pace there. He's been fiercely unlucky through the course of this championship, but I'm sure if he can get the car out ahead for long enough, he is definitely overdue for a win.
We just hope that angkat tangan doa, and we just hope that there is no 4 wide for this restart.
Well, you say that. The top 7 right now is covered by 1 second. So that's fairly close indeed. In fact, from the first to the 13th position, all of them are at 220 or better.
Yeah, this is a really close race.
This is going to be very, very spectacular, especially the opening stages of the race there. Mazan Zairi has dropped down to 5th position, so let's see if Gazkun can improve. Again, it's great to have his fans on board as well in this racing series and in this championship. It really goes to show the guys who are coming out from AC and coming out from like the whole, not to say the underground world, but that modding community of driving modified cars and stuff like that. They're echoing what people like Keiichi Tsuchiya and people like that did in Japan, of going from modified street cars and getting interested in motorsports and then getting into circuit racing and really enjoying that side of things there. So qualifying is over, and Leong Mon Fai gives me a very wise sage advice. Max, tarik nafas dulu. I will take that breath in. Thank you so much, Leong, for reminding me. So there you have it. There's the grid. James Russell in pole position for Stratos Motorsports. In second place, Han An from South Korea. Shami Aizan and Sharon Norfuden fill out the row 2 of the grid, with Mazam Zairi Gaskun there in 5th place and Wan Li Kui in 6th. Zainal Hazim is in 7th, followed by Muhammad Shukran, Rinaldi Edo, Francis Metrillo, Leong Mun Fai, and Fred Ting.
There you go. That's only 11. We have Lord Luckin from Australia, Marvin Dajit Singh, and then on the 13th place, Abdul Hakim on the 15th place, Aldo Ray Balagulen on the 16th place, William Wong on the 17th place, Wong Jian on the 18th place, Jeffrey Kahn and Jesse Yunus in 19th and 20th place.
And we are very close to starting the race right now. A few more seconds to go before the start of the race. The lights are up. The 5-second board is down. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights illuminate, and it go. Very, very short lap, very, very short timing on the lights there. It looks like Han An's managed to outdrag James Russell coming out of the pit box there, out of the grid there. I do apologize. Coming up towards turn 1 here, James Russell in second place there, but there's 2 cars, 2 wide and 3 wide coming down towards the braking zone here. James Russell tries to go around the outside there, manages to keep that second place from Shami Aizan. Meanwhile, there's more battling there between Sharon Norfuden and Muazzam Zairi, who's managing to hold his own there and keeping himself into 5th position. Hard on the brakes here for the second part. A very defensive line there from Gaskun as he comes out of the corner there. Further back, there's cars going 3 wide through turn 2. How did they not have a big accident there? I'm counting all the cars, and they in fact have indeed made it through the corners there. Meanwhile, Muazzam's got a lot of pressure there from Sharon Norfuden. He's managed to close in on the inside, and James Russell trying to go around the outside. Hard on the brakes. Can he claim that pole position? Can he claim that win? Not too sure what happened there, but it looks like he is able to do it, but he's slowed down massively going through there. They're going to go 3 wide underneath the Corvette bridge, and it looks like the 2 Hyperbulls cars have managed to mug James Russell coming out of the corner there. Not too sure what happened to James there at the start of the race, but it looks like he's had a real race of ups and downs there. He's gone up into 1st place, down to 3rd. Han An is struggling a little bit there to try and get past a few drivers. He also had a bad start there. Well, at least a bad turns 2 and turns 3 coming through the corners there. There's still cars going 2 wide, still cars going 3 wide there. Lloyd Lachlan making moves right now and putting a lot of pressure on Malvinderjit Singh ahead of them. But ahead of them, there's a whole battle with Rinaldi Elo, Francis Petrillo, and Wan Li Kui. Oh, that's a big, big impact there. And it looks like that's taken 2 cars, 3 cars, 4 cars out wide. Unbelievable carnage there. Zainal Hazim out of the race, and there's more cars stopped on the grid there. It looks like William Wong's out of the race there. It looks like Rinaldi Edo, Malvinderjit Singh. This has to be a safety car. Unbelievable amount of wreckage there coming out of the corner there. Unbelievable stuff indeed. We'll have to have a look at that later on, but that was incredible racing Cars going 2 wide, cars going 3 wide, cars going 4 wide in some places there, and unfortunately 3 into 2 just did not go.
Wow, that was really big incident.
Yeah, we couldn't quite see what happened there, but it looked like Zainal Hazim got turned around into the rest of the pack there. And once you've gone sideways on into the pack, there's not a lot of place for everyone else to go through. So we can see there's a car coming across the field there, and that just collected Zainal Hazim. So let's have a quick look again. Again, looking at Zainal Hazim coming through the corner here. Yeah, he was side by side with an Audi there, getting on to the exit there. He managed to give it a little bit of grip there, but a little bit of space there, but unfortunately there's just a little bit of contact between those two cars, and that set off a massive chain reaction. Zainal Hazim spun, he went into another car, William Wong was involved, Abdul Hakim somehow managing to avoid everything. Aldo Ray Balagulan, actually I'm not sure if it's Abdul Hakim that avoided everything, but Aldo Ray Balagulan has managed to avoid it beautifully. Let's see Fred Ting's position through this mess there, and unbelievable stuff there. A couple of drivers managing to weave their way through it, but William Wong, a lot of damage there. Fred Ting as well, picking up a massive amount of damage there. All these cars behind there, and you can see there William Wong has a lot of damage on the back of that car. A lot of cars in the pits and a lot of cars being repaired on William Wong.
What was just happened, Max? That was a really big incident. Like I said earlier,
I could run through it again, but I'd run out of oxygen.
Yeah, well, this is a TCR level of incident, Max.
Yep, unbelievable stuff there. You can see William Wong just had nowhere to go, and got the camera knocked over there a little bit, and he just, unfortunately, there was just nowhere to go for half of these cars, and very unfortunate, very unlucky for the guys further behind. They just simply had no space.
No tire also.
No, a lot of parts.
Oh, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 cars. Six cars. 6 cars involved in that. I know Fred Ting had a bit of damage as well, so he might be going to the pits, but he might be driving to the pits. The cars that are currently listed as in the pits are in fact being towed in there, and in fact Malvinder Singh has pulled out of the race. That's very unfortunate for him. He was doing so well there. Meanwhile, another interesting thing to have a look at, Lloyd Loughlin's managed to jump up into 8th place through all of that carnage.
Wow. Now we are waiting for the race to start.
This will be a good it'll be a fairly long run up towards the start-finish straight, and obviously it's a fairly long lap.
We have like half of the track we had to finish.
If you guys have a book to read. But we don't have one. Let's have a look at Malvinder Singh's view of the incident there. Again, he was trying to avoid it. I don't know if we could see that clip again, but I think he was just trying to avoid the incident there, but there was just too many cars involved in that particular accident. You can see that he just takes to the grass there, trying to avoid everyone else, and there's not a lot of grip there on the grass.
Oh. Now we need to count how many tires came off.
Well, yeah, I think Michelin have a long night ahead of them picking up tires off the cars there. Again, we can see Rinaldiedo's point of view. He had a real hard time trying to avoid everyone else, and he just had 3 cars immediately converge directly ahead of him. So that can't be too good, and he might have been able to drive away from that if it wasn't for the pink Honda backing into him. So that's very dramatic stuff indeed. Let's see if the Porsche's lights will stay on for another lap as they're clearing up. Let's have a look, and it looks like there's going to be one more lap to go.
Yes, another lap to go. This is a 6 kilometers track.
Absolutely. But it does give the crews enough time to try and clear everything up. It does give everyone a chance to just settle down and chill out just a little bit, and perhaps go through there. Afiq Fadlan saying he's cooking Wagyu steak tonight.
Oh, that was really unfortunate for those Hyperbulls guys.
Absolutely.
2 of them.
Absolutely, but they do have 2 of their drivers up at the front of the field there. So there is Shami Aizan and Sharil Norafuddin. Those have been a dream team for a very long time. Teammates for a very long time in Hyperbulls. They always tend to work in a pair and doing very well for themselves, but unfortunately it looks like it is going to be a very up and down race for Hyperbulls.
Wow. The start of TCR race tonight was actually an epic start. That was an epic start. We didn't see any incident as big as that on the whole championship, but this is Road America, and you know what I say about Road America, it's not easy.
Absolutely, Umar there commenting via text. Hope the restart is smooth. We're all hoping that the restart is a little bit smoother there. We were saying about going 2 wide and 3 wide and our nervousness over that. I think I did see 4 wide at one point.
But just now it's 3 wide.
Yeah.
When that happened, it's actually 3 wide.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Again, this will be a rolling restart, so perhaps it might be just a tad safer for all the rest of the drivers there. So we'll get a few more notifications before we start the race, I'm sure, letting us know what the track conditions are, but they are coming up towards that section fairly soon. Car number 15 right now is managed to leave the pits there, so we have one more driver out on the field there driving away. That would be William Wong. I believe that's William Wong. Car in 15th position right now. So race control says lap 1 multiple incident is under investigation. The multiple car incident at the start of the race there at lap 1 is under investigation from race control. So the stewards, I think, will have a long night looking at that.
Yeah, we have Rinaldi Edo out, William Wong out. But Zainul Azim, Mavinderjit Singh and Wong Jian are still in the car.
Absolutely, they're going to be expecting to try and get the car running again. Race control states that pace car is going to be coming in this lap. So that's going to be fantastic news. We will be getting back to racing very, very shortly, within a minute or two. So don't go anywhere. Hopefully your bowl of popcorn is ready for this restart.
Wow, it's a really long start. It is a really long start. This is a long track. Like we said earlier, this is a really long track. And what happened just now is actually that was a single strain of mistake.
That's the thing, when the cars are that close together, as anybody who's seen NASCAR or anything like that, if the cars are that close together, it only takes one mistake to cause an absolutely horrific chain reaction. Hopefully this start will be a little bit calmer. They're going through the final series of corners now before the start-finish straight. There is that crest, of course, over the top of the hill, so that could play into it. But we'll see how Shamir Aizan handles this restart. It'll be critical, I think, for Shamir Aizan. Whatever he does, he has to really push hard and perhaps try and get a jump on the field, because we can see if the field is bunched up, it can get a little bit dangerous around this track.
So Zainul Azim is actually our 3rd position in championship, and it is not really fortunate for him.
Absolutely. The Porsche comes in, and now the yellow flag will be taken away, and the green flag is out again, and it's go, go, go. Shamir Aizan is now in 1st position. Sharon Norwood in 2nd place. James Russell is in 3rd. The 2 Hyperbole cars leading the race at the moment now, but Han An, what an amazing move to try and go in on the inside of Muazzam there, but Muazzam's not giving up. They're still side by side coming down the hill, hard on the brakes there. The 2 Audis behind him of Muhammad Shukran and Wan Li Kui also battling away. They're beautifully held around the outside there for Muazzam. They're still side by side. They're still holding it right now. Shamir Aizan still in the lead. Sharon Al-Fuda in 2nd place. James Russell's in 3rd, and Han An finally gets it in 4th position there. But the 2 Audis are starting to be very racy behind Muazzam there, coming down towards the braking zone here. Let's ride on board with Mohamed Shukran, hard on the brakes there. In fact, they touch, but somehow Gaskun manages to keep the car going on the straight and narrow, and he managed to even keep the position. So Muazzam there in 5th place, and it looks like Jasri Jonas has spun. Unbelievable luck there, Jasri Jonas. I think he just might have locked it up on the brakes, or perhaps had a bit of a contact there, but he has managed to get going again, so we will still be green flag right now going through the track right now. Jen Wong reports that it's an 8-minute repair for him. Very bad luck there. Commiserations to Jan Wong from all of us here. Hopefully we'll have a better race next time out. But now let's have a look there. Muazzam Zairi there in 5th position, and he's got a whole bunch of cars behind him. I think this is going to be his strongest test in iRacing. We know he's quick in AC, but now this is really where he can show all of that skill.
Yeah, Max. Now we can see there's a very small gap between 1 to 13 place, and it's it's really a small gap, less than 1 second everyone.
Yeah, I think the entire field is within 10 seconds of each other.
Okay, it is really scary for me.
Yeah, when you think about it like that, it's quite
Yeah.
frightening indeed. James Russell has managed to close up onto the back of Cheryl Nurafudin, but he has a slightly bigger headache behind him. Han An, our championship leader, he is down in 4th position. He's not used to 4th position. He'll be wanting to be on the podium for every round of the championship. Meanwhile, Wan Li Kui is going to try and make a move on Shukran side by side, coming down towards the start-finish straight and into turn 1. Is Wan Li Kui going to try and do something around the outside here? Let's have a look. Muazzam's boxed Wan Li Kui in just a little bit there, but there's just enough space for him to squeeze ahead of Muazzam Zairi there. So Wan Li Kui in the Hyundai has managed to get ahead of Muhammad Shukran right there. And meanwhile, behind them, Lloyd Lachlan getting very racy and looking all around there. Leong Mun Fai also looking for a gap going through this race here. Hard on the throttle there. It looks like Lloyd might be able to do something further up the field, though. It looks like James Russell's managed to find a gap there, and he's going to go side by side with Sharon Norfoot, hard on the brakes there. Unbelievably close action there. You could barely fit a bicycle through between the two of them. Oh, that's a big knock there, and it looks like Sharon Norfoot dropped a position there, and he's had to slide. Oh, that's Sharon Norfoot. I do apologize there. Just behind Han An there. That was a fairly hard knock, but these cars are fairly hardy, so they managed to just about keep themselves up ahead right now. Just coming through the corners there. Sharon Norfoot now has a real big fight back to get back into the podium positions.
That was a really good overtaking by James Russell, but the problem with that is side by side on that corner.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea. I will say that it's not a good idea. It's really hard for Sharin Rafuddin to have a space to fit in that kind of position.
Absolutely. So look at how close everyone is. It's unbelievable stuff racing through here on a track this narrow, and people are still trying to make moves left, right and center in some cases going through here. Fred Ting there in the Mean Machine, the pink and blue Honda, just closing up to this rather interesting battle. It's a battle between Muhammad Shukran, Leong Mun Fai, Aldo Rebel Abdul Hakim, Jeffrey Kong, and of course Fred Ting. Look at the group there. I think Lloyd Lachlan was involved in that little group as well. It's almost like a bicycle peloton rather than a motor race. Meanwhile, Gaskun, he's getting a little bit of speed back up again. He's got that Ultraman front bonnet right now. Ultraman being a fairly popular character in Malaysia. Muazzam there, definitely a full true blue Malaysian for wearing that livery. Coming up through the main straight here and down towards the first corner there. It looks like he actually has a pace difference there between himself and Cheryl Nurafudin, but he'll have to be very careful because Wan Li Kui has a massive turn of pace right now, and Aldo Rebalogalan just right underneath our noses manages to make an overtaking maneuver there. He made that look unbelievably easy. Beautiful slipstream going through there, and that took the entirety of the start-finish straight there. And he just managing to get it on the brakes into the corner, textbook inside to outside, closes the door to make sure there's no counter-attack. Brilliant stuff there from the Filipino driver. Meanwhile, Wan Li Kui making moves now, trying to get up through the field there. He's had just enough time to try and get his car up into 6th position right now. And hard on the brakes there. Ooh, it looks like Sharon Norfoot still not giving that position up again. And unbelievable stuff there from those two drivers. And that's Muazzam Zairi, I do apologize. So that was a battle between Wan Li Kui and Muazzam Zairi. And Wan Li Kui managing to get himself up into 5th position, Muazzam down into 6th place. So 16 minutes have passed in the race. Shami Aizan still your race leader. James Russell 4/10 of a second behind, and Han An in 3rd place, 9/10 of a second behind. 3 drivers within 2 seconds of each other. Where have I seen that before?
Well, oh, this is the incident that happened between James Russell and Sharin Rafuddin just now. This is a replay of that happening, and Han An managed to secure the 3rd place due to this incident.
Yeah, that contact between James and Cheryl there, just a little. I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that, but I don't think there was much much to complain about.
Yeah.
Then again, the stewards know far better than we do, so we'll let them get on with
Well,
the jobs.
it's TCR Max.
Yeah.
And it's TCR. So
It's-
things like that is actually quite normal.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Especially in iRacing, you see a lot of this sort of door-to-door action going through there. I mean, I'll probably reserve judgment until a later date, but as they say in those court dramas. But yeah, it has been such close contact racing, very, very close to each other. All the overtaking maneuvers are done with just inches to spare on this track. And I think that's going to be the real trick here, is you can get past your opponent cleanly. You don't take any damage, you don't take any 1x penalties or anything like that. That's going to be, if you can master that, that's going to be absolutely crucial. Now, James Russell in second position right now, 0.4 of a second behind Shamir Aizan. Han An also very close behind there. So I think this battle, again, this race looks like it's going to be a battle for the lead.
Wow, we would thought that the last round in the Red Bull Ring was the best race, but we were wrong.
Yeah.
This is a second time battle for position. James Russell trying to get in. There you go, James Russell. What a nice move done by James Russell there.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there, just classic. Getting the drive out of turn 3 and going up towards the Corvette footbridge, and just managing to claim that apex going through the corners there. That, again, that just snuck up on us. We didn't expect that to happen, but we just managed to pull it off. Let's have a look there. James Russell hard on the brakes, late on the brakes, just about managing to give perhaps just enough space, maybe 2 foot extra as they go over the crest and into the corner there, and he manages to claim the apex, claim the exit, and Bob's your uncle. He is now in the lead of the race. Now, James Russell's mission is going to be to drive that Hyundai as fast as humanly possible. Shamir Aizan in second place, well, he has to try and keep hold of that draft. And Han An in third position, well, he perhaps has the easiest time of them all. He can read the 2 cars ahead and try and plan his next move, so he's got a bit of time to think about it. But he doesn't have too much time, because 1.3 seconds behind is Cheryl Nurafudin and Wan Li Kui, who are also looking very racy. Again, where have I seen that before?
Well, James Russell seems to be driving like James Russell.
Yep.
The way he drives, he took a very aggressive kind of line and a very aggressive kind of approach in terms of overtaking his opponent, and that has been a really brilliant strategy. Nobody expect that he will overtake there.
Absolutely. Wan Li Kui there, diving in onto the inside there, having a little bit of look at Shara Nurafudin. Shara closes the door on him, but Wan Li Kui is closed up right to the back of him. He might not be able to make an overtaking maneuver happen in turn 2, but he will be able to make something happen in turn 3. Cheryl throwing the car over the curb there, trying to get as fast as possible through that corner, but Wan Li Kui just about hanging on to slipstream distance right now, 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second, sorry. Coming down. I don't think he might be able to outbrake him at this distance, but he can get mighty close.
Ooh, that was a really good braking, and he, like Max says, does get close. Not to mention Muazzam Zairi behind him was actually getting closer and closer.
Yes, it looks like we're just resetting ourselves. We're in the interregnum before all the action's gonna break loose once again there, but it looks like Abdul Hakim here doing very well for himself. He's managed to avoid all the drama. He's managed to get himself back up to 11th position. He was right in the middle of all that mess during that first lap incident, and now he's putting a lot of pressure on Mohammed Shukran. Again, not the slowest driver out on the field there, but it looks like Abdul Hakim moving around to the left, to the right there. I think they're commenting, come on Pingu, coming around the bends and heading up towards the back stretch there. Hard on the throttle. It looks like Abdul Hakim might be able to draft up past Mohammed Shukran. It depends on how fast he can go through this kink. Not quite flat out in these cars, this tiniest of lifts. And it looks like Abdul Hakim might be able to set something up here. 0.2 of a second. 17, 16, 15. He can outbrake if he wants to, but he's decided not to. I think that might have been a wise idea, considering how wide Shukran went out towards the outside of the bend there. That's the other thing. You have to be able to read the driver ahead.
Okay, if he tried to make that move just now, what happened to Jay might happen to him.
Yes.
This is the same things that we have seen throughout the pro race.
Yeah.
So I bet that AM racer has the idea of what not to do.
Yeah, absolutely. They would have the advantage of seeing the pro drivers go around the track and actually try and learn a lesson there. And I think for sure Abdul Hakim has learned that lesson rather well indeed.
Now Lior Moonfai, trying to get Lachlan.
That's a
that
big
was
impact.
That was a contact.
That was big impact right onto the 3/4 there of Lloyd Lachlan. He wouldn't be too happy with that, I'm sure. Let's have a look on the replay. And yeah, it just looks like they tried to dive in a little bit hard into the corner there. Not too sure whether it's a racing incident or what. I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that. But that puts Lloyd Lachlan down into 14th position. Not where he was planning to be on there. He was doing such a nice race too. On track to scoring his first points in the series. So unbelievable luck there for him.
He was doing quite fine just now, but that battle doesn't turn out to be his favor. So
yeah, it's unfortunate stuff, but that is racing, unfortunately. Hard on the throttle there for these two drivers. Abdul Hakim might have another shot at trying to get past Muhammad Shukran, and I think he might be even closer still. And further behind him you have the battle between Fred Ting and Francis Matrillo. This looks like the ASEAN conference of sim racing right now, as they're going through the wide open spaces of the carousel and onto that almost flat king. Let's see how these two battles head out.
it seems like James Russell have managed to pull away from Shamir Aizan for quite some times, and the gap is now 1 second between him and Shamir Aizan. Shamir Aizan still trying to get hold of, trying to get check of Han An behind him, trying to be defensive. That might make him lose quite some time.
Absolutely, that's going to be the problem there with Shamir Aizan. If Han An gets really racy behind him and starts pushing him, that's just going to give the advantage to James Russell, because he can now just focus and push as much as possible. Abdul Hakim tries his best to get around the outside. That's a nice maneuver, and that's a brilliant maneuver. He has dumped everyone into the pit lane and has carried on. That was fantastic stuff. That was the fake of the series. Did you see that?
That was a brilliant move done by Abdul Hakim. He make it looks like, nah, I'm going in. No, not yet.
That's going into my submission for iRacing's top 10, that's for sure. But that was brilliant stuff indeed there. He's managed to fool everyone into going into the pits. So that's Wan Lee Kui, Muhammad Shukran, Francis Matrillo, Fred Ting and Lloyd Lachlan all jumping into the pits all at the same time. Now I can see why Lloyd would jump into the pits early to try and get a bit of an advantage ahead, but the rest of them not too sure. Race control, lap 5, incident between car 4 and car 9 is under investigation. And we have some fantastic race stewards there working behind the scenes to make sure that everything is, all the racing is done clean and fair. So we'll let you know of any decisions made.
Muazzam Zairi was actually trying to get to Sharin Rafuddin for quite some times now. This is the 10th lap, and I think he has been fighting with Sharin Rafuddin for more than 8 laps.
Absolutely, it's been going for quite some time. The Shami Azri says George Russell.
No.
It has been pointed to the both of us several times through the course of the week that yes, we did in fact say George Russell. We meant James Russell, and we'll try and remember that, James.
There you go, Han An again getting closer and closer between him and Shamir Aizan in front. Shamir Aizan having a good maneuver on defensive, trying to keep Hanan in check, but the problem with that is he will lose time to get to James Russell.
This battle with Aldo Ray Balagulan and Leong Mun Fai has just exploded on the scene there. Top 5 position on the cards here. Aldo around the outside, Leong Mun Fai on the inside. He's just about managed to make it hold on. It's still too wide coming into the final corner there, but there's just enough place for Leong Mun Fai to get ahead of Aldo. But it looks like Leong Mun Fai was heading into the pits there. He's just slowed Aldo Ray Balagulan a whole lot there. Muazzam Zairi, Leong Mun Fai and Jeffrey Khan into the pits this lap around.
So we have less than 20 minutes left, Max. So everybody has gone to the pit, I guess. Some of them still in the race. Haven't. Oh, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people who doesn't serve the pit yet. They have to get to the pit because of the fuel.
Yeah.
That might be an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So they will have to pit at least once over the course of the race there. But it's interesting to see that, again, another thing I think the AM drivers have learned from watching the pro race is that the drivers have staggered their pit stops. That move
Taki do.
the move that Taki did was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. To really just stay out there, and I think the drivers are now trying different strategies to see if any of that stuff will work. But Abdul Hakim, that is something that we see a lot of in oval racing, in iRacing, where you try and sell the dummy going into the pits and get the rest of the guys into the pits, because if you could pull it off, you pull off across the pit commit line and get back across legally in time for all of your rivals to go into the pits in such a way that they cannot get back out again. That's just brilliant.
That was really 200 IQ. Now we are talking about 200 IQ, X.
That is a definite 200 IQ maneuver. Whether he wins, loses, or draws, I think he's going to take that home with him. That's a definite driver of the day.
That's going to be a big smile on his face
Oh, yeah.
for the whole week.
Absolutely. It looks like James Russell right now has the pace advantage on Shami Aizan at the moment there. 1.8 seconds separates the two drivers, but Han An is putting a lot of pressure on Shami Aizan further behind. In fact, that's a lot of pressure, 0.4 of a second behind. But James Russell, fantastic race so far. Half an hour to go there. Let's see if he goes into the pits. He will go into the pits, I believe. So yes, that's James Russell, Shami Aizan, Han An and Sharil Norifuddin. The leaders are in the pits. Let's see what happens with Aldo Ray Balagulan and Abdul Hakim. Aldo goes into the pits there, and Abdul Hakim is also into the pits.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see what's the result of Abdul Hakim.
Absolutely.
What have he done, and then what's the result of that?
Well, I think just his ability to avoid all of the carnage in lap 1, as well as that brilliant maneuver to sell the dummy to the rest of the pack there. I'm not too sure if you could say driver of the day, but it's definitely nomination right there.
Correct. I do agree with that, Max.
And yeah, there's been so much action going out there. James Russell out on the pits there. Shami Aizan's managed to gain a position on Han An coming out of the pits there. So he comes out in second place. Han An in third. Sharil Norifuddin in fourth place. Wan Li Kui in fifth. And Muazzam in sixth place. Gascon also doing a fantastic job there, battling with all the drivers around him. Definitely driving like a driver that has a lot more experience than the guys around him as well. And what can you say about Aldo?
Well, Max, what we can see here, Wan Li Kui as a...
Oh yes, race control. Lap 1 incident, 165 went on the curb, slid back in and hit 23 and spun 23, causing multiple collisions. 2 points of drive-through penalty for car 165. So that is the word from race control, that there will be a drive-through penalty for car number 165. So we'll get...
let's see who's 165. Give me a second. Shukran, yeah.
So that is Muhammad Shukran there with the drive-through penalty, car number 165. That's going to knock him back quite a few positions there. Very unfortunate for him going through the course of the race. That's going to be, especially at this late juncture, maybe quite difficult to gain back. Sharil Norifuddin there in fourth position. He has pushed as hard as possible to try and keep up with his teammate there, but I think he has done well for himself. But Han An, I mean, I think he's perennial nominee for driver of the day, isn't he?
Max, Wan Li Kui is actually getting ahead of Muazzam Zairi.
Yes.
He actually quite far behind just now.
Yeah,
And
he has managed to get ahead there. Car number 8, Wan Li Kui, also doing a fantastic job in the races there.
And now we see Sharil Norifuddin trying to get Wan Li Kui. Sharil Norifuddin trying to get Han An in front. Well, go Hyper Boost by Hyper Boost Esports Racing Team. There you go, Danish Iman.
That's
also a driver for Hyperbulls.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see that the Hyperbulls guys like to stick to each other, stick together and give each other support there. I think Iman Danish, he had a fantastic race going on there. It's just that last corner incident, so unfortunate for him. But I'm sure he will bounce back, and he knows he can win the race now. He knows he's got the pace to win, so he's going to be definitely fired up for the next round as well. Jeffrey Conn really pushing Abdul Hakim quite hard there, and let's see if this battle can come to a conclusion there. Again, Jeffrey Conn doing very well for himself throughout this race there. Fred Ting is behind it. We have here a genuine three-way battle of Brunei.
Bruneians, yeah. I just want to say that we have a three-way battle. This is a battle of Bruneians.
Indeed, fantastic stuff there. Muhammad Sukran there taking the pit road there for his pit penalty. Coming down towards the braking zone here, it looks like Abdul Hakim just making sure that he's taking the perfect racing line through there. He knows no one was next to him. Of course, all the drivers have electronic spotters that will actually tell them if there's a car on the left or a car on the right as they go through the curves here. Looks like, again, this Abdul Hakim is definitely doing quite well for himself.
Yeah, there we are still watching them fighting together. Three of them are different livery, different teams, but from the same country, Max.
Absolutely, and
same car. Oh no.
Well, not quite the same car, but definitely a very Asian bent to the team. Ooh, looks a little bit wide there for Abdul Hakim. Has he been able to keep the speed up? Coming up towards the braking zone here, he's going to be taken by Jeffrey Conn on the inside there, and he's going to be taken by his teammate as well if he's not careful. Hard on the power then. Jeffrey and Abdul Hakim just about manages to keep the car ahead. Jeffrey Conn moves up into 10th place. This is a battle for the final points paying position, so well worth having a push for. But all these three drivers are definitely going to be pushing quite hard indeed throughout the course of the race. They'll be slipstreaming each other, and I guarantee you they'll be having the time of their lives doing it.
Han An just managed to get his best time with 2:19.81.
Brilliant stuff there. Let's have a look at Jeffrey Conn diving in on the inside there, and almost another overtake there, but Abdul Hakim just making sure that Fred Ting was unable to claim that position as well. Brilliant driving from all three drivers, giving each other enough space and just making sure that Abdul Hakim didn't have to give all of the cars pass, just one.
Okay, now we are still Shahrin Rafuddin still trying to get Han An. If Han An just managed to get I don't think he will commit to that. No way. That's no way. That is no way. Well, if Han An just now get a very good lap time, Shahrin Rafuddin might have a same lap time, I would say.
Yeah, they look like they're very close together in terms of pace right now, and that makes overtaking a little bit difficult, because if you're a lap faster than the car ahead of you, you could get past relatively easy. But when you're both doing relatively same times, it gets a little bit hard to try and pass, because you know that guy can counter-attack immediately afterwards. But Han An doing a fantastic job here. He almost had the lead there during the first aborted standing start of the race. Again, third place not going to do his championship hopes any harm at all. He's going to be looking at this as a bit of a damage limitation to the race. Keeping the car in the podium positions is the best shot for him to try and carry as many points towards that final round of the championship. Han An definitely with a good shot there, but James Russell will definitely gain a lot of positions in the championship. Will get a definitely much needed points boost there. Shami Aizan and Sharon Nurafuddin also improving their championship positions.
Yes, James Russell definitely need this championship point right now. He has been quite unfortunate for the past two races.
Absolutely, with the pace where he was able to win on the first two rounds there, but with just unfortunate incidents on both occasions there. But James managing to keep the car ahead right now, relatively clean, and just hot lapping that car as much as possible out in the front of the field.
It seems like Han An is getting closer to Shami Aizan and Shahrin Rafuddin behind. This has become a three cars battle right now.
Absolutely. As James runs off into the distance, the battle is for second place. Shami Aizan, Han An and Shami Nurafuddin very close to each other right now. Definitely just getting into that slipstream zone at the moment. They're getting a little bit closer. It looks like Han An is in the most danger right now. He's a little bit far away from Shami Aizan to try and do anything, but Charles Norafuddin is definitely having a very sneaky look. There's a car stopped there on the inside, not too sure who that is, but there might be a little bit of a problem there. But coming down towards the braking zone here and hard into the corner, we'll just have a quick look at race control. Incident investigated. Number 4 went out of the track, tried to move back in and cause collision with car number 9. Racing incident, no further action for the battle between car number 4 and car number 9. So
that was between James Russell and Sharin Norafuddin just now.
Absolutely. So brilliant stuff indeed. Looks like Han An getting a little bit closer together there right now. Hard on the throttle and coming out of the turns. And well, we're seeing these cars actually getting much closer together through that opening part of the lap. I was just talking earlier that Shami Aizan was drawing away from Han An, but it looks like Han has been able to really catch up right now. Hard on the throttle through there. Kalvinder Singh, how is this possible? I wonder. I'm not too sure how, but
it happened.
Well, I'm not too sure how that's possible either. Shami Aizan and Han An almost getting together there at the carousel. They're coming out towards the final part of the carousel, which tightens up right at the end there. So if you don't quite get through there perfectly, you could be in a real world of trouble. Now coming through there, cars getting very racy right now. 0.2 of a second between all three of these cars now coming towards the braking zone there. Who is going to make a move first? It's going to be very difficult between these three Hyundai N cars, the Elantras. Hard on the throttle coming out of the corner there. Still very close indeed, but Han An has breached the gap between Sharon Norafuddin and Shami Aizan. He's managed to go from defending to attacking at this point in time. Hard around the last corner there. You can see the amount of rotation that Shami Aizan has to put into the car to get the car turned in. Han An looking a little bit more smooth. Now it's going to be a slipstream battle coming towards the start-finish line and into turn 1. Let's see if anybody's going to make a move here. Looking to the left, I'm sure, looking to the right, and it looks like Han's going to try and go around the outside. Hard on the brakes there. Let's see if he can get ahead of Shami Aizan through the corner there. They're going to go side by side. Hard on the throttle now. It's going to be a drag race down to turn 2, and it looks like a bit of a twitch there from Shami Aizan. Has given that bit more pace to Han An. Hard on the brakes again, and it looks like Han An with a majestic move around the outside of Shami Aizan has managed to claim second position. Brilliant stuff there from the South Korean. Fantastic racecraft from all of the drivers there as well. Hard on the throttle though. It looks like Shami Aizan might be going for the counter attack coming into the braking zone here. Hard on the brakes, and it looks like he might be able to get the nose ahead of them around the outside of the corner there, and it looks like Shami Aizan just getting the traction, getting the drive. His teammate is looking left, looking right. Sharon Norafuddin looking for any possible gap to try and get past there, but Han An managing to make it work. Beautiful stuff, brilliant racing from all three drivers.
That was a really good maneuver by all the races. So right now the vote is open. You can vote for your driver of the day in our stream.
So there you go, the driver of the day there. It's between Han An, Shami Aizan, James Russell and Abdul Hakim. So get ready to vote for the AM class driver of the day. Meanwhile, let's have a look at Abdul Hakim. Definitely trying to get himself a few more points there in the driver of the day polls. Beautiful dive onto the inside there. Beautiful outbraking maneuver. Just about textbook passing then. Meanwhile, this replay there from Han An going around the outside. This overtaking maneuver took forever. Coming around the corner there on the throttle there, a little bit, not too sure if it was a twitch, if it was a touch, not too sure what happened there, but that was just enough so that Han could just squeeze ahead of him. This is 10/10 racing at its best, and now we have a look there at Han getting up towards the hill there and having a real challenge there. Sharon Norafuddin didn't know where to go, left or to right there, but that was brilliant defensive driving there from Han An to make sure he neutralized the threat from the Hyperbulls cars.
Well, while Han An, Shami Aizan and Sharon Norafuddin is fighting for position, James Russell pulled away by a lot of gaps.
Absolutely. James Russell now 4.8 seconds ahead and doing very well there. Of course, we have more messages of support there from Sharil Norafuddin. Pingu doing very well for himself. Pingu, of course, is Sharil Norafuddin's nickname.
So right now we have less than 3 minutes left. Gogo Kimi 24, Syamir Aizan, Muhammad Anipia. You see, there's a lot of fans around here.
Absolutely, all of the drivers' fans there on their feet, cheering virtually, of course. Sharil Norafuddin now having a look on the inside just to keep his teammate just a little bit honest there. We know the Hyperbulls guys are definitely in favor of battling with each other. There's no team orders there, I am sure. But Syamir Aizan, they're pushing hard there with Sharil Norafuddin. Kavita Singh saying, Hyundai Power, come on! Looks like these two guys can try and catch up towards the Korean up ahead there, but it's a fantastic battle for second place.
Yes, Hyundai Power, why not? Budak H, what? Come on.
Slanted H.
That is still H. Now Syamir Aizan, Hanan and Sharil Norafuddin, they're still fighting for position, and they have, I guess, less than 2 laps left.
Absolutely. I think we might see a lap 19, depending on where James Russell comes out. A little bit awkward to predict when the race will end, but of course that's super critical for the guy in the lead because he needs to know that he has enough fuel in the car. That's going to be a critical thing around here. Now, we don't think most of the field should be okay, but if anybody's short fueled in order to get out of the pits quicker, they're going to start to worry about when that car is going to come across the line.
And that we know that has happened for quite some times, you know. I remember that Taki talked about that also.
Yes, absolutely. You can get into a situation where you have to fuel save like mad over the last couple of laps, and yeah, it's a tale as old as iRacing itself, having to save fuel towards the end of the race on these pit stop races. Syamir Aizan still getting all the pressure and then some from his teammate Pingu, looking on the inside there, just having a little cutesy look as he comes across the line. And there, 50 seconds to go in the race. This should be the last lap of the race. Coming hard on the brakes there. Let's see if he can do anything. No, Syamir Aizan closes the door and keeps himself ahead. It looks like these two drivers are going to be battling with themselves as opposed to Han An, who's done a fantastic job to get the maximum amount of points possible. A real champion's drive. Meanwhile, Francis Matrillo is right there with his teammate Aldo Ray Balagulan, the two Filipino drivers absolutely having a whale of a time there with their Honda Civics. Coming down towards the hill here towards turn 2. Can Francis get any closer to Aldo?
There you go, Aldo Balagulan and Francis Matrillo. Both of them are using Hondas actually. Wow, this battle is still going on, Max.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was wondering what our friends from Brunei were doing, and they were still battling as hard as possible. It looks like Fred Ting has managed to get ahead of Jeffrey Con, and Abdul Hakim, again, brilliant drive from him so far. 300 IQ move in the pits. I haven't seen anything that clever in a very long time. Let's have a look at Fred Ting and his maneuver. Oh, into the carousel. That's a very brave place to try and make the overtaking maneuver stick. He has to back the car up and really slow it down there around the outside to make the corner. But absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. But Jeffrey Con won't let that slide for too long. They're going to be pushing as hard as possible. Meanwhile, this battle for third position, which Hyperbulls member is going to be on the third step of the podium? Sharil Norafuddin is still all over the back of his teammate Syamir Aizan. Syamir Aizan in third, Sharil Norafuddin in fourth place. It looks like they're not too close. They're not close enough for a outbraking maneuver, but it looks certain that it's going to be a real battle right to the line. I think we're going to have a bit of a drag race from him. But what can you say about this man, James Russell? Not the most event-free way to win a race, but he's definitely managed to make it stick. Once he actually got the lead, he's managed to make it stick. He's managed to get the win down, and he has it's definitely redemption time there for James Russell, taking home the win in first place. Hanan in second place, and Syamir Aizan decides to take it home in third position. That was a real drag race up to the top of the hill. I did call it. And Muazzam coming home in sixth place there. Gaskun fans rejoice. He's got some points there. Dongman Fai in seventh place. And Aldo Ray Balagulan and Francis Matrillo not as close, But brilliant stuff indeed. Zainal Hazim comments, respect no doubt to James Russell, the fastest man out on track. Brilliant stuff indeed. This battle here, let's see if Abdul Hakim can hang on to the title of top Bruneian. Yes, he can, and a bit of a squiggle across the line there to celebrate. Brilliant stuff there from the Bruneian. I absolutely love his driving style, his racing style. You can tell he is out there to have fun, and he's quick with it.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Max. Well, between Shahmi Aizan and Sharinur Fudin, that last touchdown, it's gonna be a photo finish for them, and they're gonna be happy.
Absolutely.
I wonder what they are talking about in their radio right now.
All about that photo finish. We're not too sure if it was staged for our cameras, but I'm pretty sure that once they got side by side, they stopped staging it. Perhaps carried it on for a bit longer. But sure enough, I know he'd be desperate to get past by any stretch of the imagination. Muazzam there, fantastic job there from Gascon, getting himself back up into 6th position. Brilliant stuff indeed.
Wow, that was a good race.
Indeed, it has been a fantastic race here at Road America. And, well, what can we say about the race? We had it all. We've had the first lap incident with 7 cars involved, which is a good chunk, a good proportion of the field there. So unbelievable stuff there. Battling all up and down the leaderboard. We've had the Battle of the Bruneians. Absolute highlight for me.
Battle of Bruneians. We got... Oh, but in these both race today, we have a front pack battle, Max.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, and we just got word there that there has been a couple more stewards' decisions, so everything should be tidied up for this evening. We're a little bit late for the broadcast, so we do have, just from our producer Kara Alam, that the news that the driver of the day is in fact Shabi Aizan.
Well, he deserves it.
Absolutely, after the defense. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant stuff there indeed. And I think shout out has to go to Abdul Hakim. I still can't get over that pit maneuver. That's brilliant.
That's gonna be into our highlight. That's gonna be it.
Brilliant stuff there. I think we've made quite a few memories here at Road America. First time we've raced here for Adrenaline Impact. And I think we're going to be coming back there.
It's
often.
Full of excitement, full of fun, full of action, full of incident.
Absolutely, and you can see all of that in our post-race show. But of course, let's look ahead now to the next round on the 15th of April, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so it is a track that we have raced at before. Multiple times before. Zandvoort, a personal favorite of mine, a personal favorite of I think a lot of us here in the studio. Brilliant track, flow like you wouldn't believe, and brilliant racing as well.
You guys really love the fast action track, right?
Oh yes. There's no point racing somewhere boring.
This is another fast action track that you guys choose, and wow.
Now,
seeing GT3 cars here,
yes,
seeing TCR cars here, yeah. It's gonna be big.
Absolutely, Zandvoort seems so natural to a GT3 racer nowadays. The outbraking maneuvers going into Tarzan hairpin, trying to get that Porsche going flat out through the Rob Slottermacher block, and into Shivlak, the fearsome downhill right-hander, all of which are favourites in the sim racing community. But that's going to be our next round on the 15th of April here at Zandvoort. But of course, we have our post-race show, which will be on Tuesday, 12th of April. So we're going to have all of the highlights, all of the event information, and perhaps another special guest.
Oh, I'm waiting for that.
Yes, do stay tuned for our special guest announcement. We'll have a little pop-up on Facebook, so do stay tuned to our Facebook pages. And we'll definitely be looking forward to him. A personal friend of ours for a very long time, and I'm sure you guys would recognize him. It would be very hard to not recognize him. So absolutely looking forward to speaking with him and getting his views on Zandvoort, because I know he likes that track as well.
Well, who doesn't love Zandvoort?
Absolutely.
It's a brilliant track. Max loves to say brilliant. This is a really brilliant track.
Yeah, this time I
agree
mean
with
it.
that. I'm agree with that.
This time I absolutely mean it. So that's going to be it for us here in the studio. Thanks to all the drivers for putting on a fantastic show. A special thanks to all of the drivers there. Hopefully some of you guys who got caught up in the incident will be able to have a much better race in the next stream. And also thanks to our sponsors, LamboPlace, our main sponsors, along with Stratos and Excitix, our co-sponsors. A special thanks to Trumpet for helping us organize this, along with Adrenaline Impact and Vertex Esports. And a special thanks to our media partners, Galeri Kereta, as well as Drive Safe and Fast, DSF. And of course, a special thanks to our share sponsors, Tolak.
See there? Oh,
Oh yeah.
just nice.
Brilliant seats there. I'm gonna sit like this so you can see the brilliant quality seats, in fact. But that's going to be it from us. Special thanks to all of you guys watching at home, without whom we would not be able to do what we do today. But that's going to be it from our director, Umar Aziz, our producer, Kara Alang. Special thanks to Iche Budi for keeping me company tonight.
Oh, it's really lovely, Max.
Absolutely. And it's absolutely lovely accompany you as well. But that's going to be it from us. We'll see you all in the next stream. Bye for now. Ta-ra.
LamboPlace.
Dalam minit je cerita. Oh, sedap pergi tu.